beautiful night in the Northeast. That's the Manhattan skyline and across the Hudson in the New Jersey Meadowlands. We're ready for a very important NFC East battle.
The red carpet is the scene tonight.
The crowd is going crazy here.
It's Sunday Night Football. All right, Sunday night, where are you? Just kicking back from the things that you do. You want the big game, we want it too. Hey, Jack, it's a fact, the show's back in town. Eagles and the Giants hitting pound for pound. The stadium's rocking, time to crank up the sound. The NFL's best have come to play. For every fan, there's just one thing left to say. I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. The tough get rough in a primetime fight. The last one standing gets to turn out the lights. 'Cause I've been waiting all day for Sunday night.
For a Giant touchdown.
They just felt that they could do that all night.
Westbrook diving into the end zone.
Unbelievable.
Sunday Night Football on NBC. Al and John are the best on TV. Players already kicked that ball off the tee. 'Cause the NFL runs on NBC.
The New York Giants coming out onto the field at the New Jersey Meadowlands Giant Stadium. Boy, did they need a win last week against Washington. And they got it. And they're ready to take on Donovan McNabb and the Philadelphia Eagles. And boy, did they need a win last week against Detroit. And they got it. Giants, Eagles on Sunday Night Football. Al Michaels along with John Madden, Adria Kramer. Welcome to the Meadowlands. It's much too early to talk about must-wins and desperation wins. Close enough. Each of these teams came off a victory last week they really had to have because the Dallas Cowboys right now are 4-0. Washington a bye week, 2-1. The winner of this game, 2-2 with a two-game winning streak, feeling pretty good about themselves. The loser of this game drops to 1-3, 3 games back, and right now with a quarter of the way through the season, they would be about as desperate as you could be at the end of September. Philadelphia, meanwhile, not feeling very good about themselves physically, John. Brian Westbrook is out. They're minus 5 starters, 4 Pro Bowlers, 3 on offense, 2 on defense tonight. What is Andy Reid's plan B for this game?
Well, I think the big thing when you lose a Brian Westbrook and they just decided tonight that he wouldn't play, you lose your best runner and your best receiver. So to say the pressure is on Donovan McNabb, it is every time the Eagles play. It's going to be about McNabb. But he's going to have to get the ball to different guys. And it may not be Corral Buckholder, who's a backup back, but it could be the wide receivers. Last week, Kevin Curtis stepped up and had a big game. I think tonight, Reggie Brown has to step up as a wide receiver for the Eagles.
And he's only caught 5 balls in 3 games. Now, as far as the Giants are concerned, last week that porous defense shut out Washington in the second half. They erased a 21-point deficit. Manning looked good. Burris looked good. They won a game they had to win. But when you look at tonight's game of the Giants' 2 units, offense, defense, which would be most important for their fortunes to win this game?
Well, you know, it'd be easy to say defense. I mean, their defense hasn't played well all year. You know, you talked about that fourth quarter last week. They were pretty good. They're 25th in the league. But I say offense. I mean, you know, that Eli Manning has to have a good game. They have to be able to run the ball. When you talk to Eli, when you talk to Tom Coughlin, they say it's all about pass protection. If we can get the pass protection, we can beat the Eagles.
These two teams 90 miles apart, met 3 times last year, including once in the playoffs. They've been meeting since 1933.
The Eagles-Giants rivalry is like NASCAR. A lot of banging, a lot of hitting, a lot of swerving, a lot of wrecking. And you never tell who's going to win at the end.
Sunday Night Football is brought to you by Chevy and American Revolution, by the Comcast Triple Play. Experience TV, phone, and internet together like never before. By Marriott, redesigned by business travelers for business travelers. And by the United States Air Force. Experience more at DoSomethingAmazing.com. Spanish audio provided by Telemundo.
The most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Chevy Silverado. This is our truck.
NBC Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
All the Eagles are missing tonight is the guy who was leading the league coming into action today in yards from scrimmage, coming off a tremendous performance last week against Detroit. Brian Westbrook will not play. More on Brian. Let's go to Andrea Kramer. Andrea.
Hey, Al. Well, Brian Westbrook has a tear in the muscle under his left rib area, and it causes the rib to pop out through the muscle, and it's excruciating pain. So this afternoon at the team hotel, they did some muscle tests and stretching. It was just too painful for him to go. An additional concern is that the muscle could tear more and the rib could fracture. So with Westbrook out, I asked Giants head coach Tom Coughlin what he has to do. He said they still have to stop the run with as few guys as possible. He thinks the Eagles are going to try to spread them out, exploit their 29th ranked pass defense, and throw like crazy.
Well, we'll find out at the Meadowlands before the usual packed throng. Act 1, Philly against New York. Phillies win today, Mets lose. Sorry to bring it up again, Mets fans. Mets are out. Phillies are in. They'll meet the winner of tomorrow's playoff game between San Diego and Colorado. David Akers to kick off for the Philadelphia Eagles, back in their conventional uniforms after the yellow and whatever it was show last week, baby blue, canary yellow and blue, but it worked for them. They scored 56 points. Ruben Drones back to receive the kick. And here we go from the Meadowlands. And that kick will bounce into the end zone, and it will be downed there by Ruben Drones. So Eli Manning comes out at the 20-yard line. Here is the Giants offense.
Eli Manning, Ole Miss.
D. Ward, Fresno State.
Madison Hitchcock, University of North Carolina.
Plexico Burrs, Michigan State.
Amani Toomer, University of Michigan.
Jeremy Shockey, University of Miami.
Dave Deal, University of Chief Illinois.
Rich Seibert, Western Illinois.
John O'Hara, Rutgers.
Chris Snake, Boston College.
Marie McKenzie, Penn State.
Derek Ward starting. There was some question as to Ward's health. He missed some practice time this week with an ankle sprain. But here is the sudden star of the Giants at backfield now with a flag coming in right off the bat. Ward taking the spot of the injured Brandon Jacobs. He got hurt on opening night against Dallas. There's a hole here, though, against New York.
Number 68. 10-yard penalty. First down.
There is no 68.
I would say it would be either 66 or 69. I was going to say 66 or 69 because that's where Derek Ward ran. He ran right in between Rich Seibert and Dave Deal.
And it was Seibert who gets called for the penalty. 66 Deal is the guard who becomes the Giants' left tackle and has done a pretty nice job to this point in the season. They split Ward out to the left this time. Empty backfield out of the shotgun. You've got 5 receivers going downfield. Manning, good protection, and then the pass is incomplete. Coming in is Quentin Michael, the safety, to knock it down. Here's the Philly D.
Savon Kirst, University of Florida.
Mike Patterson, University of Southern California.
Bradley Bonkley, Florida State University.
Trent Cole, University of Cincinnati.
Chris Kong, Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo.
Omar Gaither, University of Tennessee.
Takeo Spikes, Auburn University. William James, Brownsville Area High.
Sean Considine, Iowa.
Quentin Michael, Boise State University.
Sheldon Brown, University of South Carolina.
They're minus Lito Shepherd, the corner, Brian Dawkins, the safety. So 2 Pro Bowlers not starting because of injuries tonight. And on second and long, they give it to Ward, and he's taken down by Takeo Spikes. It'll be 3rd down and 20. Now, Manning, of course, has been facing the Eagles since he came into the league and became the starter halfway through his rookie season. 5 games, 20 sacks, 8 picks, and 5 forced fumbles. They've been rough on him.
You know, and he knows that, too. I mean, he expects them to be rough on him tonight because, you know, with a Jim Johnson defense, you're going to get a lot of pressure. You're going to get a lot of blitzing, especially on 3rd down. You get this 3rd and long situation. He gives you the nickel like he does here and a lot of exotic looks. and that's what you have to pick up.
This time only a 3-man rush with 8 back. It's a screen to Ward, and he gets tackled at the 16. So a stumbling start for the Giants. He had a holding call right off the bat, negating an 8-yard gain. And then it's 4th down now, and into punt. As Sheldon Brown got hit on the last tackle, and that's about the last thing that Philadelphia would need is another defensive back to go down. He looked a little shaky going off the field. Jeff Fiegels, 41 years old, oldest player in the league, 20th season, and a one-time Philadelphia Eagle. To send it into the night sky, it's a line drive kick. Caught at the 44 by Reno Mahe. And Mahe, with a flag down, fumbles. This was what cost Philadelphia its opening day game against Green Bay. 2 botched punt returns. R.W. McQuarters was able to punch it out. So we'll have to see who recovered it and also what the penalty is here. Philadelphia indicating they have it, so they'll retain position.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 81. 10-yard penalty, first down.
At least they keep the ball. Let's take a look at the Eagle offense.
Donovan McNabb, Syracuse University. Pharrell Buckhalter, Nebraska.
Thomas DePay, the University of Minnesota.
Kevin Curtis, Utah State.
Reggie Brown, Carrollton High School.
Matt Schobel, TCU.
Winston Justice, University of Southern California.
Todd Herman, Saginaw Valley State.
Jamal Jackson, Delaware State.
Sean Andrews, the Big Kid, Arkansas. John Runyon, Michigan.
Talk about Sheldon Brown again, minus Dawkins, minus Shepard, and there is Brown. So Philadelphia has another issue at the moment. Check on Sheldon as they take over at the 35. A perfect passer rating is 158.3, and that's what McNabb was last week. They scored 49 points in the first half. He came out on fire. 4 touchdowns, no picks.
When he gets in a rhythm, he can roll it, and the rhythm is when he has good pass protection, not like this.
Pressured here, and then he throws underneath, and that pass is incomplete, and that is Antonio Pierce, and maybe the Giants send a little bit of a message there right off the bat, blitzing Pierce from the middle.
You know, and that's what they want to do to Donovan McNabb. They want to throw him off, and you see Pierce is up inside here. He comes right in the A gap, and they don't even touch him. You know, because a lot of times that linebacker will step up in there to help the defensive tackle, so you assume that he's bluffing, that he's not going to come. That time they thought it was a bluff, but in reality it was a blitz.
From the gun again, McNabb has thrown almost half his passes this season out of the shotgun. On 2nd and 10, that pass is caught. Short gain, Reggie Brown, pickup of about 3. Here's the Giant D.
Michael Strahan, the Texas Southern University.
Barry Cofield, Northwestern. Fred Robbins, Wake Forest. OCU Menora, University of Troy.
Matthias Kiwanuka, Boston College.
Antonio Pierce, Mount San Antonio Junior College.
Kavika Mitchell, South Florida.
Sam Madison, Louisville.
James Butler, Georgia Tech.
Jabril Wilson, Tennessee.
Aaron Ross, Lee, University of Texas.
Aaron Ross makes his first start, #1 draft choice from Texas. 3rd down and 5. McNabb, his 3rd snap from the gun. Pressured again. Down he goes. So the Giant defense hot at the beginning. That's Justin Tuck getting the sack.
Isn't this something? It's all about Steve Spagnuolo. You know that Tom Coughlin wanted a defense like the Eagle defense, so he hired their linebacker coach as the defensive coordinator. Now, what does he bring to him? He brings pressure. And the Giant defense now looks exactly like the Philadelphia Eagle defense. A big 3rd down blitz. That's what Jim Johnson does all the time.
3rd sack of the season for Tuck. This is the Australian punter, Sav Rocca. The McQuarters to run it back, and Quentin Michael, the special teams maven, who's also in the starting lineup tonight as the safety, one of their 2 safeties, makes the tackle at the 29-yard line. Each team has had the ball once. Manning and company have it for the 2nd time at the Meadowlands. Sunday Night Football is being brought to you by Southwest Airlines with convenient nonstop flights. It's like having your own company plane. By Sprint, the official telecommunications service sponsor of the NFL. This is the NFL at Sprint speed. By Nissan, inviting you to shift the way you move through the world. And by Budweiser, the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Open a world of taste. Sheldon Brown comes back in. When they first came out after the punt, it looked like he might not be in. Joselio Hansen came into the game, but Brown is out there facing Burris. They move Toomer in the slot to the right. Manning takes the snap from the shotgun and then throws over the middle, and that is incomplete, dropped by Amani Toomer. It'll be 2nd and 10. Amani Toomer last year missed half the year. Knee injury, ACL. Back for his 12th season. Here's how Brown got hurt, John.
Yeah, you can see it right here. He's coming up, makes a tackle from behind right there, and it looked like he just got kicked right in the stomach.
Then they looked at his neck on the bench, but he is back in there, and they're telling us from the bench right now it was a stinger. 2nd and 10 from the 29-yard line. Play fake by Manning, buys time, and that pass is complete. Eli's been very proficient off play action over the past couple of seasons. It's Toomer making the catch, and he's tackled by Brown.
You know, one of the things that you do when a player does go out and he's injured, you always want to check him to see if he's okay, and the way you check him is you throw on him. And that's exactly what the Giants did to Sheldon Brown there. He was playing off. He was playing an off coverage, and Toomer just runs an out pattern on him.
From the 41-yard line, Shockey is moving. Derek Ward. And Ward will get corralled by Kurth. Ward, one of those guys, I mean, he just, in effect, comes out of nowhere, even though he's been around for a long time. Started in college at Fresno State, academically ineligible, went back, was ineligible again, worked as a gopher in the movie industry, went to Ottawa College, not in Canada, the one in Kansas, drafted by the Jets, picked up by the Giants about 3.5 years ago. He's been injured. He's been on the practice squad. He's returned some kicks. He's done some spot work, and now all of a sudden, he's the guy out of the backfield.
Yeah, he was saying when he went to Ottawa, it was very humbling. He didn't have a scholarship, had to pay his way back there, couldn't fly, took a train. I tell you, sometimes that's not a bad thing for a young guy to be humble, you know. And then when you get an opportunity like, you know, he got first with the Jets, and then the Giants got him off the Jets practice squad, and you have injuries, and you think, you know, Derek Ward, a new guy here, it's his 4th year. I mean, he's been here and with this team and with this offense for 4 years, and you know, he really knows it and is ready to play in it, and he's playing very well.
There's Brandon Jacobs out with a sprained knee. Of course, all of this happens because Tiki Barber retires. It was going to be Jacobs and Drones, and Jacobs gets hurt in Dallas on opening night, and it becomes Ward.
And Derek Ward says that Tiki's like a big brother to him.
On 3rd and 5, that is caught, and then leaning forward is Amani Toomer. And Amani, after dropping one, is now caught back-to-back throws his way. Michael and Spikes make the tackle. First down in Philly territory.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about earlier, is pass protection. And that is a perfect pocket there. You let those ends come up the field, and you just stymie the tackles inside. And then Eli Manning can not only see the receivers, see the defense, but he has a place to step up and throw.
Manning 3 for his first 5, plus or including the one drop by Toomer. Movement up front, flag is thrown. And it's Burris, number 17. Plexico playing with a sprained ankle.
Defense, number 98. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Mike Patterson came across the line. It'll be 1st and 5 against Andy Reid's defense.
That's the one that used to always drive me crazy as a coach. How you can be a defensive tackle, lining right up on the ball, and you're told to watch the ball. I mean, that's the only thing you don't know the snap count. I mean, that's the advantage the offense has. They know the snap count. You're lined up right in front of the ball. How can you leave before the ball snaps? I'll tell you the answer to it. It's just you're trying to anticipate.
Sure, that's Tommy Harris. He's pretty good at that.
Ask Philip Rivers.
Right.
Ask Philip Rivers a lot of things tonight.
Oh, I don't think you want to talk to Philip Rivers tonight. As Burris makes the catch at the 34-yard line, and that will be a first down. Sheldon Brown with the coverage. Burris is the kind of guy, I mean, he would have to be Allen Iverson's favorite player. Practice? Practice? He can't practice.
No, but he can do this. I mean, he's so big and he's such a great target that, again, that's that fade stop. He's trying to get deep. If you can't get deep, then the quarterback just throws it to your back shoulder, and Burris just comes and makes that play. He's just about impossible to defend. And then you're right. I mean, I was there the other day. He didn't practice a down.
From the 33-yard line, Manning buys time, throws underneath. Ward makes the catch. And Ward fighting for that first down and is close to it. Chris Gokong first to make contact, but then Ward able to move forward and appears to have a first down at the 23-yard line.
I know what Jim Johnson is thinking right now, the coordinator of the Eagles, that I got to get this guy out of rhythm. He's way too comfortable. I'm talking about Eli Manning, and you just watch him. I mean, he's very calm. He's getting comfort. You know, he has good pass protection. He has guys open. He has everything going his way. And knowing Jim Johnson, he wants to throw him out of that rhythm, and he wants to do it right here. And the way he does it, obviously, is with a blitz.
First down. Manning coming into the season, among other things, people talking about, well, he has to improve his completion percentage. He has done that coming into tonight's game, 61.3%. And he's really been, as we mentioned before, very tough with play action, as he was on that last play.
You know, but just look at the poise that he has. I mean, he is a totally different guy the way he operates in a game than he was a year ago, 2 years ago.
To the outside to Burris. And Burris will be forced out of bounds at about the 18. Thing about Manning, too, and, you know, talking about earning the respect of your teammates, we saw him on opening night. Remember, he hurt his shoulder. There was some speculation that he would not only miss the following week's game against Green Bay, but maybe be out for a month. He didn't miss anything.
Yeah, he had a separated shoulder. In fact, he said, you know, I knew I was going to play the next week. He said if they wanted to know, everyone's speculating how long he's going to be out. He said if they would have just asked me, I would have told them.
Maybe. Second and 5. Ward to the 15-yard line. I mean, all of the teams in the league, they have to play that cat and mouse game, because if you can make the other team think that you might not play, then it gives the opposition something extra to think about, another guy to prepare for.
And Tom Coughlin said he really knew it when they had a doctor come in on Saturday, the day before the game, and say, okay, he's okay. He can't hurt it any worse by playing. So when Tom Coughlin heard that, said, well, then I'll play him. And Eli heard that, and he said he knew it all along that he was going to play.
Third down and 1. Drones is in the game. Reuben Drones, who scored 2 one-yard touchdowns last week. He's their short yardage guy. Not this time. He gets stacked up by Patterson. Mike Patterson is there to meet him. So Drones, the former Bronco, and Brown, who came over in an off-season trade and figured to split a lot of the time with Brandon Jacobs, can't pick up the first, and the Giants will have to settle for a field goal attempt.
Right, and Mike Patterson got those yards back. You know, we talked about how he gave up that jumping off sides earlier. He got it back right there. And he was against Chris Snee, took on the block, played off it, made the tackle for a loss.
34-yard attempt for Lawrence Tynes. Spiegels push it down, and Tynes' kick is no good. It was wide to the right. 5:13 to play in the opening quarter. Still nothing.
Jerry Seinfeld to appear on the 30 Rock premiere. We did the only thing we could.
Jerry, please.
Now, for one night only.
One night.
See Jerry on the Emmy-winning Best Comedy, 30 Rock.
It's Thursday.
Only on NBC.
Only the Nissan Titan has a Utilitrack cargo system and the longest crew cab bed in its class. You choose the tie-down points, you choose the angle. Because Nissan thinks when you put...
And that's what happened today. Green Bay knocking off Minnesota. 4:21 now for Favre. Touchdown passes in his career, eclipsing the mark held by Dan Marino. Meanwhile, Brian Griese takes over for Rex Grossman, and Detroit beats Chicago So all of a sudden, a vital game for Chicago next week. Chicago at Green Bay is the Sunday night game from Lambeau Field.
And Brett Favre has that record and everything, and we should be proud and congratulations. But how about the Packers being 4-0?
Unbelievable. Meanwhile, Philadelphia with 9 sacks last week against Detroit, 14-3, leading the league in that department. Get one here from the freak, Javon Curse.
Yeah, he goes right around Kareem McKenzie. And you're going to see it right there. He starts up, then he goes to the inside, and that's McKenzie has bad technique. I mean, usually when a tackle is beaten to the inside, it's because he lifts his inside leg. Once you lift that inside leg and give him the inside, like McKenzie did on that play, they're going to take it every time.
2nd and 16 with the play clock down to 1. Manning swings it to Ward on the outside, out past the 20. It's a nice little Edwin Moses move, and William James, the former William Peterson, who used to play with the Giants, is there to force him out. One minute remaining in the period. I thought Brett Favre retired, didn't you?
No. Like I said before the game, is when you still have that fastball and you're not hurt and you enjoy playing the game and you think that your team got better. Remember at the end of last season, and they were getting pretty good, the Packers were.
Yeah, they won their last 4.
Right, and I think he saw that coming and wanted to be a part of something he started to build.
3rd down and 6. And that is caught, but stopped short of a first down. There's a flag as well. Omar Gaither makes the tackle on Ward. Get the call from Terry McCauley in a moment.
Holding defense, number 21. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
William James, John, we talked about it on the post-game show. New Year's Eve, final game for Green Bay last year. And for all the world, we were, in the majority, 99% of the people watching had to think that was it for Brett. Tears in his eyes, taking pictures. It looked like that was the end.
Yeah, I don't know that, that maybe at that time he thought that was the end, but it's something about your body. Once you give it a month or so to heal up after a season, your mind changes too.
You can just ride that mower in Mississippi so much. From the 31 up to the 37 goes Ward, and that'll do it for the end of the quarter. Philadelphia and the Giants are scoreless at the Meadowlands, and NBC Sunday Night Football will continue after these messages. Al Michaels, John Madden, Andrea Kramer, Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator now of the New York Giants. For several years worked under Jim Johnson with the secondary and then linebackers in Philly, as we start the second quarter with Manning going deep and incomplete off the fingertips of Plexico Burress. Sheldon Brown with the coverage. So close.
And that's the type of thing that you have to get against a pressure defense is you have to get a big play. And if you're going to get a big play in this offense, it's this guy right here, Plexico Burress. I tell you, Eli Manning makes a good throw there because he gets it before the safety can get over there. I mean, that's one of those things. It's tough to catch those kind of passes when you don't practice. And it's a tough thing, and Plexico Burress is doing well, not practicing and playing, but, just that half a beat timing is always going to be off.
And Brown got there, made contact just as the ball got there.
Offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Well, that'll make it 3rd down and 9, and that's the type of thing that sometimes does happen after you throw a long pass because they start that play clock, and sometimes you forget how close you are to 0. They did. 3rd and 9.
And I think, one thing we talk about the Eagles on defense blitzing, we know they're going to do that, so you want to change your count, so that they can't time it up and hit those gaps and holes just as the ball is snapped. But sometimes in doing so, you take a little too long.
3rd and 9, jumping across and making contact was Jaquay Thomas.
Defense, number 75, unevaded to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Back once we started about a minute ago, 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where a pass rusher, again, isn't looking in at the ball. He's anticipating. Instead of watching the ball, he's listening. He hears a hard count. He hears something that makes him jump that early.
Third down, 4, opening second quarter at the Meadowlands. Tipped in the air and incomplete. It was Darren Howard, number 90, the former New Orleans Saint, who tips it, and the Giants are forced to punt.
The Philadelphia Eagles are heavy third down blitzing, so what they did that time is get up there and fake the blitz and make Eli Manning call a protection, and then they jumped out. You see, and then they jumped out and they go deep, so he has time, but he had a call for a blitz, and there was no blitz. And that was Darren Howard, number 90, that got his hand up.
And we're going to do a snee at the end of the play. Eagles to punt. He still has it at 41. Angle kick. Caught at the 16-yard line by Reno Mahe. And Mahe brings it back to the 26-yard line. 24 ticks into the second quarter. Nothing.
The thing I like about playing quarterback is we get the ball every play.
When the ball's in your hands, everyone is watching you to see exactly what you're going to do. Decisions you make, where the ball's going to go, and obviously the end result.
You're going to be responsible for what's happening on the field.
The two quarterbacks. There's Donovan McNabb. We know that the rating system for a quarterback, it's squirrely, it's cockamamie from time to time. But what do you need for a perfect passer rating? You need those figures on the left. If you do that, then you get a perfect passer rating. Perfect doesn't mean you don't get 158.3 by completing every pass. But if you do those things, you'll get a perfect rating, which you had last week. And again, it's not a perfect system, but clearly if you're over 90 in a game, that's really good. If you're under 70, that's not very good. If you're under 50, that's pretty terrible. And I know, Johnny Unitas has a lower rating than some bums, but for the most part, it gives you an indication to a degree of how a quarterback does. And last week, McNabb was perfect.
So far tonight, he's only completed one pass for 5 yards.
1 out of 4. Will it be 1 out of 5? It will be. The pass is incomplete. The coverage was good. Intended for Reggie Brown. Covered by James Butler. It'll be second down and 10.
Now we know that Trey Thomas is out as a left tackle. So who's playing there? It's Winston Justice, number 74, right here. And he's a pretty good pass protector, and he's also a good run blocker. Now, that's one of the matchups that they were worried about, Osi Umenyiora against Winston Justice, and on that play, Justice was pretty good.
Justice inactive for every game last year, taking the place of the injured Trey Thomas. And it's a short gain for Carell Buckwalter, taking it up to the 27-yard line. It'll be third down and 9. The Giants were shredded on opening night. Dallas got 45 points. Green Bay came in and gave them a lot of trouble in week 2. And then last week, Washington looked okay in the first half. The Giants, 29th in yards per pass, 30th overall. They brought Spagnuolo in, of course, to make it better. It cost Tim Lewis's job. But right now, it's still obviously a work in progress, 3rd and 9.
But I like them a lot better tonight. They're playing a lot more aggressively, and their blitzes are getting there.
McNabb is flushed out, and that's going to be a 3rd sack, almost on cue, John. Umenyiora with the tackle. There wasn't the initial rush that time, but the secondary did its job, and that allowed Umenyiora to finally get in there and sack him.
And that's why you like speed at that position. That he could start up, he gets an inside rush, but then right there, he has about a 3-step burst that gets to Donovan McNabb. You see, he gets held up there, and right there, he uses his speed. And there's no way that he was going to let McNabb run away from him.
Sav Rocca with the punt. Hauled in at R.W. McQuarters, and he takes it from the 39 to the Philadelphia 49. Good field position for Manning's group. Early second quarter. 0-0. The headlines of the day. Now that moon over, or part of that moon over Lambeau Field next week when Chicago takes on the undefeated Packers on Sunday night. Giants Eagles. Key game for both teams. Early season game. No score. Giants at the 49-yard line. Manning buys time. Slides up. Completes it. That'll be a first down. Here comes the flag. Caught by Amani Toomer. For the moment, he takes it to the 30-yard line.
You see how Eli slid up there? You said slides up, and that's the biggest thing a quarterback has to do in the NFL today. You know, it's not scrambling, it's not running, although you have to run for a couple first downs, but it's just sliding into that hole to throw the ball.
First down.
On Gaither, the middle linebacker. Remember, they parted ways with Jeremiah Trotter in training camp, and Gaither took over that spot.
See how Eli just slides a little to the left there. Then he finds not only that gap to see Amani Toomer, but that gap to throw it through.
From the 30. Manning hit as he throws and gets it into the arms of Amani Toomer at the 14-yard line. So Toomer dropped the first pass that came his way tonight, but now makes his fourth grab of the evening. That's good for 17 and a first down.
Now, I like the way Eli is playing. I mean, here's a little pass protection. You know, good block there. In fact, Derek Ward makes a big block. I mean, any block, any back to play in the National Football League, you have to be able to block. And Derek Ward stopped that pressure coming to the inside. So it's not always just the offensive line. It's also backs and tight ends in pass protection.
From the 13-yard line, draw. Ward runs into his own man, but still has enough momentum to take him to the 8-yard line. Ran up the back of Seibert. Considine makes the tackle. It'll be second down and 6. Eli in the red zone over the past couple of seasons has gotten better and better. First year as a starter, not particularly good. In fact, not good at all. Second year, much better. This year, even better. 69% and a 116.9 rating inside the opposition 20.
That's Plexico Burris and Jeremy Shockey.
Burris left. Shockey lined up on the right. Shockey stays in the block. Manning will go to the left, and it is caught by Burris. Touchdown. Boy, he is 6'5", and they utilize that so often in that manner, either with a fade or just take advantage of the height differential.
Right, and it's so big in the red zone there because you can just throw to a spot. You just throw to that back pylon, and you get it up in the air. I mean, here he's against Sheldon Brown. He starts to the inside. He looks back, and all Eli does is throw it up over Sheldon Brown, so there's no way that Brown can get it, but so high that the only guy that can get it is Plexico Burris.
7-inch differential, Tynes for the extra point. So it's a short field. They go 49 yards. 4 plays. Burris with the score, and the Giants lead the Eagles 7-0.
What?
Sunday Night Football brought to you by Energizer East Squared Lithium. Keep going. By the Home Depot, the official home improvement sponsor of the NFL. By Verizon Wireless, get all the football action from NBC Sports right on your Vcast phone. And by McDonald's. Times Square, Manhattan, about 8 miles as the helicopter would fly. From there to here.
You ever think, how does so many people fit on that island?
All the time.
It's amazing. You come into the city and there's just packed coming in and coming out, and you wonder, where do they fit?
J.R. Reed is going to run the kickback from a yard inside the goal line, and a flag is thrown at the end of the play as the run back is up to the 32-yard line.
The Eagles have to get something going here.
Return, holding, receiving team, number 84.
basket. Back out comes McNabb, off to a slow start tonight. 1 for 5.
Monday.
Welcome back.
Journey back in time.
This is counterfeit. No. This isn't even good counterfeit.
And change lives.
I think I'm going to be late for dinner.
All new Journeyman. Monday after Heroes on NBC.
And there is the Journeyman himself, Kevin McKidd, star of NBC's new Monday drama. Join the game here tomorrow night, 10 Eastern and Pacific, 9 Central and Mountain. Journeyman, right here on NBC. Eagles with so many injuries tonight. They're playing a few journeymen. The ball is at the 14-yard line. Terrell Buckhalter up to the 16. They're going to be joined this late. Brian Westbrook, abdominal strain, not playing. L.J. Smith, tight end, out again. You've got, there is Westbrook as you look at him on the sideline. Trey Thomas, the left tackle, not playing. The starting safety, Brian Dawkins. Starting corner, Lito Shepard, also out. 4 Pro Bowlers, 5 starters.
And McNabb hasn't gotten anything going here. He hasn't even gotten started. He's only completed 1 pass.
And that was for 5 yards to Brown. And now you've got Madison trying to get an early jump. And that's on McNabb.
Yeah, that was a corner blitz coming. Sam Madison was coming, and it looked like McNabb saw it and reacted more to Sam Madison coming than the snap of the ball. So he's looking out there to the left, and he starts to bail out. But again, you can't react to that.
Second down and 13 now as McNabb throws. And that's caught, but wrapped up right away after Brent Selleck, the tight end, makes the catch. Pierce smothering him as he makes the catch at the 23-yard line.
And here's one of the matchups we've been talking about is John Runyon here and Michael Strahan. Runyon says as long as he keeps his technique, both hands together and bends his knees, he'll be okay. Because he has to stay low, and it's tough for a guy who's 6'7" as Runyon is to stay low on a guy like Strahan, because he can get down and have great leverage, and Runyon has to bend his knees to stay low with him.
3rd and 7, blitz. McNabb has already been sacked 3 times, but gets this one off to Reno Mahe, and that's a first down. Mahe wasn't even in training camp. He was gone, but then the Eagles, with 2 botched punts against Green Bay on opening day, put the call out for Reno to return punts, and now with the injury to Westbrook, see a little offense as well.
Did you see Umanura on that play? Winston Justice is a tackle here. Here's Umanura. He just runs right by him. I mean, Justice didn't even get out of his stance. It looked like he was looking at the linebacker inside him, and he just let Umanura go right by him. Good play by Donovan McNabb. I mean, when you get a free rusher coming off the edge and you complete a pass, that's pretty good. That's on the quarterback.
Now Buckhalter for a gain of 1. Second down and 9. Here's Andrea.
You're talking a lot about O.C. Umanura, but of course there's the classic Runyon-Strahan matchup. And John Runyon told me that the week before he faces Strahan, he always looks at a special cut-up tape of plays that Strahan has beat him to remind him what he did wrong. Strahan, by the way, said it must take Runyon 2 weeks to study that tape. Well, there's lots of trash talking in this matchup, and Strahan says he does it because Runyon's always doing some illegal stuff, holding him, and when a play is over, he'll roll over and hit you in the pile, you-know-where guys. But really, they do respect each other.
We'll be back for more. Second and 9. That is caught by Brent Selleck. So the tight end getting this some action. He and Matt Schobel sharing time in the absence of L.J. Smith makes the catch. So I think about Runyon and Strahan. One of the reasons, I mean, Runyon was already a pretty good tackle at Tennessee as Philly goes without a huddle here. And one of the reasons they got him was playing in the NFC East. They knew they had to have a guy take care of Strahan twice a year.
Right, and the right tackle, because most, pass protectors are left tackles, but they knew with Strahan playing left defensive end that they have to get a very good right tackle. And they did in Runyon. In that deal in piles and stuff like that, John Runyon will tell you, all I do is finish off my blocks, and he does.
This is the 14th time they faced each other in a regular season game, plus once in the playoffs. And down goes McNabb again, and this time it is Strahan And Strahan, let's see where they put the ball here, because if it's behind the line of scrimmage, which it is, it would be a sack for Strahan, which now makes him officially the all-time New York Giants sack leader. He hadn't had a sack since the end of last season. He gets one here. It's a 3-yard sack, and he now eclipses Lawrence Taylor with 133.5. There's a little bit of an asterisk attached to that. We'll tell you about that in a second. Still, it's a very impressive figure.
Yeah, Lawrence Taylor, one of the all-time great pass rushers, and obviously so is Michael Strahan.
And now you've got Buckholder on the ground picking up the first down. Sacks didn't come into play until the early 80s. Lawrence Taylor played 1 year before a sack was an official stat. So he did have some sacks. They think he had about 9.5. So he should, in reality, have a few more sacks than he did. But officially, there it is right now. Strahan 1, Taylor 2.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Michael Strahan and what he did. And here you'll see the sack. And again, it's on Jon Runyan, and he doesn't get both hands in there. Andy Reid said if he only has one hand there, Strahan will beat him. On that play, he only had one of his hands on the inside.
From the 43-yard line, McNabb throws, and that pass is not caught by Jason Avant, who has moved into the number 3 wide receiver spot for Philadelphia.
I'll tell you this, talking about Lawrence Taylor, and all the years that I've done this, Lawrence Taylor is the best defensive player I've seen at any position. And he was a one guy. You said, have you ever seen a defensive player that can take over or dominate a game? You know, that's usually an offensive thing. Lawrence Taylor could take over and dominate a game.
If you're an offensive coordinator, I mean, what's the first thing you would think about when you're playing the Giants?
Get LT block.
2nd and 10. Screen. Buckholter gets a block, and then there to force him out of bounds before he could get to the marker is Jabril Wilson.
You know, and the Eagles look like they have a plan now. I mean, earlier they looked like they were, you know, kind of stumbling out there. They couldn't get anything going. We said McNabb only completed 1 pass, and they didn't have any rhythm at all. And now you can just feel them. They're starting to get it.
3rd down and 3. Philadelphia at the Giant 36.
And McNabb is that type of quarterback. He can be very streaky. I mean, he can go, you know, 1 for 5 or 6, and then he can go 15 for 15.
Toss back, Buckholter. Beautifully designed play. Wilson makes the tackle and a first down. Take to the fullback. Little toss to the eye back to the right side. A 7-yard gain and move the sticks.
You know, you say, where was Strahan on that play? Well, he wasn't in there. The rookie Jay Alford was in there, so they take advantage of him. You see, they get him to rush the quarterback like he's going to get McNabb. He comes in, and boom, they just pop it out there outside of him. Strahan would, you know, probably be standing there and waiting for that play.
Strahan not in top shape. He had no training camp. Remember, he didn't know whether he was going to retire or not. I think he knew, but he didn't want to go to training camp, and then he showed up about a week before the season began.
And I think he's just getting ready to play pro football right now.
This is Buckholter, and Buckholter will take it to the 24 in the absence of Westbrook tonight. Buckholter has already carried the ball 10 times for 69 yards. Good work.
You know, some of those plays, you know, like that last play, that flip to the outside, that was a Westbrook play. I mean, Westbrook, you know, could get that out there and make someone miss, or 2 guys miss and make a touchdown out of that play.
Ryan right there, 2nd down and 7. Buckholter behind the fullback here, Thomas Tapay. And McNabb's going to take a timeout prior to the 2nd and 7. Giants 7. Eagles nothing. 4:07 of the half. Some people in Idaho think that's the monument that Boise State made famous in the Fiesta Bowl.
Little Statue of Liberty, huh?
New York Harbor on a beautiful last Sunday night of September with a temperature in the mid-60s. Giant Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. After a timeout at 2nd down and 7 for the Philadelphia Eagles at the 25-yard line of the Giants.
If Steve Spagnuolo learned from Jim Johnson, this is where he blitzes, and he does.
Here he comes, pressure on, and batted back. It was Antonio Pierce coming straight up the middle and unblocked, swatting it back. 3rd down and 7.
You know, and you know that, I mean, that's what Jim Johnson does. The closer you get to the goal line, the more blitz you're going to see. Here it's Antonio Pierce again coming up the A-gap. They didn't expect that, and there's no way that the back can get up there and make that block. Terrell Buckholder tried to do it, but that's why you get in shotgun. Because if the quarterback is in shotgun, the back can block the A-gap. If the quarterback is up under center, he cannot.
3rd and 7. McMahon comfortable that time in the pocket, but the pass is incomplete. Going a little bit high, intended for Reggie Brown, who caught one ball early and none since. Akers coming out. Now, Akers is one of the best kickers in the league, has been for years, but not here. A lot of kickers hate this joint because you have the swirling winds, and take a look at that. 4 out of 9 in his career here. And 2 for 7 from more than 30 yards. This is a 42-yard attempt to try to get Philly on the board. And he still hates the Meadowlands.
That can get in a guy's head.
Boy, oh, you bet. He's normally in the middle of a lot of action, but not so far tonight. Jeremy Shockey, most receptions by a Giants tight end in the history of this venerable franchise, but tonight, nothing yet.
I remember when Eli used to feel that he had to always get Shockey involved in the game earlier. He would get frustrated. He said, that's not true anymore. He said, we believe we have to win the 4th quarter.
He swings this one to the outside. That's Madison Hedgecock, the fullback. Madison Hedgecock should be a character that Michael Douglas plays in a sequel to Wall Street. That's a fullback. Well, you're not named Madison Hedgecock.
Right. I mean, who's on his way? Madison Hedgecock's on his way. Here he comes.
He's a hedge fund manager.
Here
Madison
comes Hedgecock. I'll tell you, he has the biggest calves. I was watching him in practice the other day. I think he has the biggest calves for a running back that I've ever seen. And he has that cankle thing going, too, you know, where you're half calf and half ankle.
2nd and 1. And they give it to Ward, and he has a 1st down and into Philadelphia territory to the 44-yard line. Chris Gokon couldn't make the tackle, and a flag comes down at the end of the play.
I like Derek Ward. He's a tough guy, and he keeps his feet going all the time. He has good vision.
Freshman face mask. Number 96. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
Omar Gaither, the middle linebacker.
Yeah, we were just talking about Jeremy Shockey, though, and said that you know he hasn't caught a pass yet, but this is what he does. I mean, he maintains that edge. He gets into his guy, gets him up, holds him up, and he lets Derek Ward get to the outside. Not a great block. I mean, he should have fired a little more and gotten a little movement there, but he did create an edge for Derek Ward. I think they're about ready to go to Plexico Burress again here.
Burrow split to the left, Trimmer to the right. Manning's looking that way, but he's covered, and the pass is incomplete as it checks down to Derek Ward. Covered by Gokong. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, and that was a pretty good situation, and you kind of knew that play was coming, where you get a 1st down, and then you get a play-action pass, and you see a press coverage out there on Burress, and that's where he was looking. He was trying to go there. He got a little pressure from that side and had to take his eyes off Burress.
Burress with the only touchdown of the night. Giants on top 7-0. 2:41 to the half. 2nd down and 10. Give it to Ward. Tries to cut it back. Derek Ward will take the ball to the 26-yard line. Tackled there by Quentin Michael. Ward's now carried 8 times for 37 yards.
And that was a good cut there because the Eagles are a very good tackling team, a very good pursuing team, and he wanted to let him over pursue to get that cutback. and he was able to do it and just pick up a couple yards. Had he kept going the direction he was going, he would have been thrown for a loss.
3rd down 7.
I'll guarantee you what you're going to get defensively here is a blitz. And this is Jim Johnson. This is the Philadelphia Eagles. In this position of the field, you are going to get blitzed.
But it will have to come on the other side of the 2-minute warning. 7-0 New York. All those people at Grand Central Station are racing home to see the Toyota halftime show. Best moments from week 4. Keith will have the worst person in the NFL coming up on the Toyota halftime show. We are 2 minutes to the end of the first half.
You know, Al, in New York, that's real speed.
Real time.
Could speed it up.
Slow motion.
That ain't speed it up. The way they move.
Manning is 3rd and 7 here. Reuben Drones is the back. Flanking Manning out of the gun. Giants spread him out. 3 receivers to the left.
He's using that double cadence. Starts a cadence, stops it, starts it again to get him to commit. He knows he was going to get a blitz, so he wanted him to commit, so he gave him a cadence, stopped the cadence, made them commit. They did. Then he started his cadence again, and they jumped off sides.
Monte Rager came across the line, but was he induced?
Encroachment. Defense, number 58. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Here's what Manning did.
And then he stops. And he starts again. And he gave him a hard count. So he started his cadence, stopped his cadence, started the cadence again with a hard count.
Paul Cole's number, but Rager was the first across. 3rd and 2, and a little toss to Ward to the outside. And Ward is inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Quentin Michael makes the tackle. Big 3rd down conversion.
That was a big Eli Manning 3rd down, getting them to jump and then making it a shorter 3rd down conversion. And this is one of the things the Giants want to do is they like to get in the shotgun, but they don't want to have to pass every time they get in the shotgun. So they're trying to develop more runs from the shotgun, so you can't always play pass when they get in it.
Giants have all 3 timeouts. Manning has it intercepted at the 9-yard line. Picked off by the middle linebacker, Gaither, and then Manning chases him out of bounds. So Gaither, who was the recipient of a personal foul penalty that cost him 15 and helped set the Giants up, atones for that with a huge interception.
Yeah, Omar Gaither hasn't been making a lot of plays, and Jim Johnson was saying we hope that he can start to make more plays for us at that middle linebacker position. Here he does. He had Jeremy Shockey on the inside. He's just dropping back, and as though you see, he's walling off Shockey. Then when Shockey turns out, he turns and undercuts it and gets a jump on it. This kind of an option thing. I think Shockey was running the option off of Omar Gaither.
Eli did not have a red zone interception all of last year or this year to this point. Winston Justice full start.
5-yard penalty. First down.
Then with William Thomas hurt, Justice makes his first career start. The Eagles, by the way, have had that same 5 start 19 consecutive games. All of last year, 3 this year. So Thomas is the first change since the end of the 05 season.
Right, and then you get a young tackle in their second year, but really his first year, and have to block a speed rusher like Osi Umenyiora. You are going to have those jumps because you cannot let the defensive guy get a jump on you.
Eagles have 2 timeouts. McNabb pressured again, and he's going to step up, but not very far. Barry Cofield, the tackle, makes the tackle at the 47-yard line.
And that was Umenyiora again that gave the pressure, and again Winston Justice, the tackle's waiting for a speed rush, and Umenyiora gave him a bull rush. He didn't try and speed rush him. He didn't try and go around him. He just went right through him and put the pressure on McNabb.
Philly taking a pretty good amount of time considering the circumstances here. They do have 2 timeouts.
The Giants have 6 defensive backs in there now.
2nd and 14, but that's a lot of time to take in this situation. And we've got a flag here. And it's before the snap. Kevin Curtis.
There's no play prior to the snap. False start. Offense number 87. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That's Brent Selleck. Well, Philly had a chance when you're moving down to at least get in field goal range. Now they've already taken the clock down to 33 seconds because they wasted about a half minute there.
Yeah, and that's one of the things when you're trying to figure out protections and you're trying to, do too many things, then time just runs out on you.
That's 10 penalties for 70 yards on the Eagles, who came in averaging only 3 per game, 10 and a half.
Look at Umenyiora again is lined up as a linebacker now and going to rush from that spot.
2nd and 19. They come again. McNabb gets it away. Off balance. Incomplete. Intended for Jason Avant. And it will be 3rd down and 19. Aaron Ross with the coverage.
I'll tell you, Steve Spagnuolo's doing an excellent job with this defense. He's not letting the Eagles zero in on anything. You can't say, okay, this is what they're doing. This is what they're doing on 2nd down or 3rd down. Here's Umenyiora lined up as a linebacker, getting pressure right up the middle on McNabb. And he's moving all his guys around. He's stunning. He's blitzing. He's really changing up the defense on every play. And the Eagles haven't figured it out yet.
Giants now in a position to take a timeout if they hold them here and get the ball back. 3rd and 19. And McNabb will drop the ball, and it is recovered after Osi Umenyiora is able to get it out of McNabb's hands. It is recovered there by the Eagles, recovered by Sean Andrews, and the Giants will take a timeout with the ball at the 43-yard line. Ugly, ugly series for the Eagles. Osi Umenyiora has 3 sacks tonight. The Giants have sacked McNabb 5 times.
And he's not only done it with a speed rush. We saw him do it with a bull rush. He's not only done it from the defensive end position, we've also seen him do it from the linebacker position.
Rockets punt. There are flags down at the 40-yard line of Philadelphia and the 43 of the Giants. So 2 calls here. The clock, meanwhile, down to 8 seconds. So it figures they'll wind up 7-0 going to the half. Pending McCauley's call here to make him kick it again. Of course, the Giants can try to block it, assuming Philadelphia does kick it.
Kick. Holding. Receiving team. Number 43. 10-yard penalty. 1st down. And there's no foul for a low block prior to the kick.
Umenyiora getting an early start as he heads back to the locker room with a hat trick already in sacks tonight.
There he is. You see, he gets that left arm underneath. Justice does a terrible job of pass protecting there, and then he sees that he has McNabb, and instead of going for the sack or trying to take him down, he goes for the strip sack and knocks the ball out of there. Strahan breaks a record tonight, but Umenyiora may make All-Pro.
Eagles last week had 9 sacks against Detroit, and tonight they're the guys on the other end. 5.
When you have speedy defensive ends like that's a pass protection nightmare.
So Philly gets nothing going offensively. Manning to Burris is the only score for the Giants. The Giants in a very important early season game lead at the half. 7-0 over Philadelphia. Coming up next, Bob and the gang with the Toyota Halftime Show.
The Colts trailed at home early against the Broncos, but then Peyton Manning threw this touchdown pass to Dallas Clark, gave them a lead for good. Manning ran for a touchdown, threw for 3. The Colts are 4-0, winning at home 38-20. Dallas also remained unbeaten, thrashing the Rams 35-7. Tony Romo threw for 3 TDs, ran for another, but this was his best play of the day, turning a potential huge loss into a 1st down with this 3rd down run, showing off his athleticism. After the game, he said maybe that was the turning point of the whole deal.
Well, that play obviously won the game.
Romo grew up in Wisconsin idolizing Brett Favre, who today in Minnesota broke Dan Marino's all-time record for touchdown passes with this 16-yard strike to Greg Jennings. That's 421. He later tacked on 422, and his team is 4-0.
You know, I want to be remembered for a guy who won a lot of games or was involved in a lot of wins.
The man who seems likely to one day move past Favre in the record books, Peyton Manning, caught the record moment.
I got to see it live, you know, having the afternoon game. We had the games on in here, so I saw it live, and I was appreciative that I got to witness it.
And Chris, take a look at this. Peyton Manning at 283 at this point in his career, and by far he has the best touchdown pass per games played ratio in NFL history.
And the same sort of thing that Brett Favre has going on, in that he has never missed a game due to injury and all that goes along with that. But Brett Favre has just been so remarkable, hasn't he? I mean, you know, you look at him and here's a guy that has more gray hair than you and I combined, and yet he's playing the best football of his life, and it just doesn't happen. But we're seeing it quite a bit this year. You know, Jeff Garcia, Kurt Warner's playing great football. Just seems to be that year.
Seems like barely a year ago, people, including his admirers, were saying, you know, it's time to turn the page. They've got to move on. Now they've won 8 in a row dating back to last year.
Yeah, they turned the page, but they turned it backwards.
Yeah,
really,
that's right.
He's back to chapter 3 now. He's better than he was.
It looked a lot better than what was on the next page.
I'm telling you, it really did. And the other guy that stuck out today was Tony Romo. I mean, here's a guy that Favre-like in many ways. He just looks like he's absolutely having a ball on the field, afterwards with the press, playing around, joking, and he seems to almost single-handedly to have re-energized that entire franchise.
And he has that intangible quality, too. You know it when you see it. Yes, he's a quarterback with quarterback skills, but he's a football player.
He is a football player, and the play that he made today when the ball was snapped over his head, you could just see a kid in the schoolyard, couldn't you, going out and making that play?
Yeah, so we're happy about Romo, but when we come back, a couple of people aren't going to be happy because Keith Olbermann will select his worst person or persons in the NFL. But first, Texarkana. What a segue this way. This is. It's one half Texas. It's quite a segue, isn't it? Texarkana, as I was saying. It's one half Texas. It's one half Arkansas. But you knew that, didn't you? It's where high school football fans Marcus and Joey are this week on the line of scrimmage.
You're good.
Oh, yeah. All right, back at the Toyota Halftime Show in New York, Keith Olbermann joins us now with this week's selection for the worst person in the NFL.
I love Norv Turner, Bob, seriously.
Yeah,
great guy, never really clicked as a head coach, never taken it out on anybody, and he is one of the many victims of tonight's worst persons in the NFL. How do you take a 14-2 team, wait until both the coordinators drift away for head coaching jobs, fire Marty Schottenheimer a week after the Super Bowl, and then turn them into this mess that blew a 16-6 lead at the half to the Chiefs today? The Chiefs! And don't tell me about Schottenheimer losing 13 of his 18 playoff games. The 1-3 Chargers have now made sure Norv Turner is not going to have the opportunity to lose or win any playoff games this year. It isn't even October, and today Charger fans were chanting, Marty, Marty. And worst of all, look what they did to the happiest guy in the league, LaDainian Tomlinson.
I think for the most part, we didn't talk enough, to be honest with you.
On that one that fell through, quite turned around.
Take away his belt and his shoelaces. The unhappy and now unspoken San Diego Chargers, under the guidance of 3rd or 4th or maybe even 50th coaching choice Norv Turner, because they fired a coach they shouldn't have fired, and they fired him later than they should have fired him. General Manager A.J. Smith and President Dean Spanos of the Chargers, tonight's worst persons in the NFL.
He's a Mets fan. That's part of it. You know, he's a little grumpier than usual.
Upset about the Mets, are you?
Yeah. No, upset about a good franchise getting driven into the ground in 4 games.
Would that be the Mets or the Chargers?
Chargers.
All right. That is all for Keith and for us from New York. After this, it's back to Al and John for the second half of Eagles-Giants. New York in front, 7-0. See you next week, everybody.
This has been the Toyota Halftime Show. Without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Giants versus Eagles, it's always big. It's always an intense battle.
I think the Eagles-Giants rivalry is something that's continued to grow year in and year out.
We're only 90 miles away from Philadelphia.
Probably heard the saying, familiarity breeds contempt.
Definitely one of those rivalries
that they letting you know right away you're supposed to hate the Giants.
You know that it's going to be a physical matchup. It's going to be a night of smash mouth football.
There's going to be a couple big plays that swing one way or the other that you have to overcome.
You just have to have that warrior attitude that, you know, you're going to go out there and do whatever it takes to win the football game.
Act 2, a.k.a. the second half. Giant Stadium in the Meadowlands. Al Michaels, John Madden, Andrea Kramer. Big game, big early season game. Tom Coughlin's team coming in 1-2. Again, the winner of this game, 2-2. A little momentum, 2-game winning streak. Andy Reid's team 1-2. The loser of this game, 3 games back of Dallas. Washington is 2-1. And they will have dug themselves a big early season hole.
And I'm sure what Andy Reid talked about at halftime is getting his pass protection and getting that settled down so that McNabb could start to do what he does.
McNabb will be getting the ball at the beginning of the third quarter. Eagles receive. Tynes with the kick. Taken to the goal line and dropped and then picked up. J.R. Reed straight up the middle, and he gets bounced at the 24-yard line. Tackled by Juris Wilkinson. Let's go to Andrea.
Well, at halftime, Tom Coughlin told me we have to keep our poise and continuity. He said we feel we've had 10 points taken away from us. We have to start this half as though it's 0-0. He said, I've been telling the guys since Wednesday, we have to win the fourth quarter. That's exactly what we have to do. And as for Osi Umenyiora, who's got 3 sacks in the first half, he said, hey, it's just been a long time coming. I've just been rushing, and they tend to come in bunches.
And that has been the case tonight. 5 sacks of McNabb in the first half. 10 penalties against Philadelphia. Terrell Buckhalter picks up 3. Again, Brian Westbrook not playing tonight. Abdominal muscle pull after last week. He had a strained knee, but that didn't limit him. Numbers through the first half, and those 10 penalties against Philadelphia, the most against any team in any half of a game this season. 14 passing yards for Philadelphia.
Yeah, they just don't have the pass protection down, and the Giants are kind of smothering. I mean, even on first down, that last first down run there, they had a blitz. They have both linebackers up in there, and here they come again.
2nd and 8. McNabb throws into traffic, and it's incomplete. Good coverage that time. Traffic being one-on-one. Sam Madison. McNabb has thrown for 44 yards, but 30 yards of sacks. That's only 14 total pass yards for the Eagles.
Yeah, and when you have Sam Madison up like that, the wide receiver has to win that battle. I mean, I think, you know, you can say McNabb, you can say the pass protection. The Eagles don't have anything going, including wide receivers getting open and getting separation for them.
Brown hasn't gotten started all season, and Curtis, who caught 11 balls last week against Detroit, has been shut out tonight. 3rd and 8. McMahon has to step up. Pumps. Under pressure, gets tripped, flagged down. That would be for the moment a sack for Matthias Kiwanuka. Let's see about the call.
Offense number 73. Phillies decline. 4th down.
Sean Andrews, that'll count as another sack.
This Giant defense I just said was smothering them, and they just have complete control now, and because they can do it with a 4-man rush. You know, usually on 3rd down they like to blitz, and they were blitzing on 3rd down earlier. Now I think they have so much confidence in their rush, and the Eagles have lack of confidence in their pass protection.
Precisely as Rocca sends it down to the 37-yard line. R.W. McQuarters will run it back to the 44-yard line. Go to the break with the only guy who has scored tonight, Plaxico Burress, getting ready as the Giants come back on offense. Really?
Yeah, I eat peanut butter for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Got a spot for you in Greenwich Village. From the 43-yard line. That pass is too high, intended for Shockey, so they finally call his number. He's yet to make a catch tonight.
Yeah, it was funny. Tom Coughlin was telling Andrea that they left 10 points on the board. He must have been thinking this was going to be 7. But I'll tell you, the big play here is watch Eli Manning. At this point, I thought the Eagles were going to score a touchdown. Eli Manning comes and chases him from behind and catches him. I mean, that to me was one of the biggest plays of the first half.
And the Eagles botched the chance to at least get into field goal territory with a couple of penalties and a couple of sacks and wound up punting before the end of the half.
Eli pointing out who the Mike is.
Second and 10. Here goes Ward to the outside. And Philadelphia does a good job breaking up the blocking on that. Goshan and Curse are both there.
And sometimes you always talk about, you know, patience being a virtue for a running back, that you have to wait, let stuff develop. Sometimes you can have too much patience.
Face mask. Defense number 51. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Well, that takes the Giants from what would have been a 3rd and 13 to a first down. Takeo Spikes.
I think Takeo Spikes was on the other side, wasn't he?
Well,
I wonder if that was one of those penalties that happened away from the ball, because I didn't see anything down here where the ball carrier was, where Derek Ward was.
It had to be. Let's go back and take a look here.
See, because Takeo Spikes doesn't even make the picture here. So it wasn't there. So, in fact, it were a penalty. It had to be quite a ways away from the ball or the play.
I mean, he didn't argue very much, so he had to do it. At the 42-yard line, first down. 11 penalties now on Philadelphia, and going nowhere through the middle is Ward, running right into the arms of Mike Patterson.
You know, you feel that, you know, say, what did the Eagles talk about at halftime defensively? It's to stop the run. I mean, they're really ganging up in the run, and they're not giving Derek Ward any holes or creases. All they're going to do is force Eli to throw the ball, which has been pretty good for Tom Coughlin and the Giants tonight.
Second and 13 from the 45-yard line. Ground again. Considine makes the tackle on Derek Ward. Ward has now carried the ball 11 times for 44 yards.
Yeah, I was talking about how important pass protection is for a running back, and to release Shockey, to release the tight end, then your back has to block. You can slide the line one way, then the running back has to scan and block the other side. And you can see Derek Ward there. He was just scanning and looking left and right and left and right to see where any potential blitzer would be coming from.
3rd and 9 out of the shotgun. Manning flanked by Ward. And that pass is incomplete. Quick flip over to Plaxico Burress on 3rd and 9, so the Giants will punt.
I don't know what kind of call that was for that. You know, 3rd down, you know, the Jim Johnson defense, you know you're going to get the blitz, and you see the blitz was coming from that side. He tried to just throw that quick thing out there to Plaxico Burress, and I guess your thinking is if he can make one guy miss, he can get a first down, but not one of the better calls for the Giants tonight.
I think what you said was reflected in what Coughlin was saying on the sideline. Eagles kick will be down at the 1-yard line. Perfect. Corey Webster, who lost his starting cornerback job, gets down there to down the Eagles kick. Philly pinned deep.
Extreme power of Energizer Lithium, the world's longest lasting AA battery and high-tech devices. Energizer, keep going.
He doesn't come out and have just one move. He's going to counter what you do, and there's not a lot of guys around that can do that type of stuff.
What I respect most about John is John's going to fight. He's going to grab you. He's going to hold. But you know what? I own John right now.
Giants defense is owned Philadelphia right now. You want a recipe for nausea? If you're the Philadelphia offense, Philadelphia has 83 yards of offense and 85 yards in penalties. They are -2.
That is nausea.
That is nausea. McNabb rolling to his right, throws, and it's about a 6-yard gain to Reggie Brown, tackled there by Sam Madison. Punt, punt, punt. A missed field goal by Akers, who is now 4 out of 10 lifetime here, and 2 more punts.
You know, and part of it is the offensive line not doing a great job of pass protection. Part of it is not having Donovan McNabb have one of his best games. Wide receivers not getting open.
And that's a 7th sack. And that's 4 for Umenyiora.
Like I said, we're going to send Umenyiora in this game to the Pro Bowl. And he's used all kinds of things. And we showed the speed rush. We showed the arm over. We showed the linebacker. Here's the bull rush. When he expects that speed rush, you just square into him and just push him right back into the quarterback. That's where a tackle has to drop his hips. You can't be straightened up like that. Winston Justice was just straightened up. Umenyiora just powered him right into McNabb.
3rd down and 9. McNabb out of the gun. They need some breathing space, and it's all he can do to dump it off to Buckhalter before he got sacked again in the end zone.
And again, it was Umenyiora. And we talked about the different places that he's been going. He's gone outside. He's been linebacker. Here he's going to take an inside move. He's going to come to the inside right there. You see it's a stunt. He comes inside right up the middle. The tackle goes to the outside. He has beaten this Eagle offense every way that a defensive lineman can beat an offense.
And now with the ball just outside the 1, Rocca has to get the kick away quickly with not much room to work, and he gets off a very good kick, especially under the circumstances to the 46-yard line. McQuarters back into Eagle territory, breaking tackles, takes it to the 42-yard line. Another short field for Eli Manning. 10:09 remaining in the quarter. The Giants D all over McNabb and the Eagles tonight. 7-0. Monday night for here. On NBC from the 42-yard line, first down for the New York Giants, up 7-0, and they start by giving it to Ward. Through the middle goes Derrick for a gain of 4 to the 38-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 6.
I know what Tom Coughlin's thinking here, and I know Eli Manning's thinking, we better get some points on the board here because, you know, we're beating them every way you can. But you look at the score, I mean, if the Eagles score 1 touchdown, they're tied. And, you know, in beating someone, you also have to get, you know, along the way, you have to get a separation in the score. And the Giants have been beaten every way you can, but they haven't been getting separation.
Let Philly hang in. Ward picks up 3. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Again, Ward playing in place of Brandon Jacobs, who they think might be back next week when the Giants stay here and meet the Jets. Philadelphia has its bye week next week.
You know, Allegay's been doing a good job as David Deal, the left tackle for the Giants. That was one of the big worries that the Giants had about the season. You know, who's going to be their left tackle? Deal's a guard and so on. And then coming into this game, Trent Cole, the right defensive end of the Eagles right there, was leading the league in sacks. He had 5. So they're kind of worried about this matchup here, Cole and Deal. And so far, Deal has won it.
Manning from the gun on 3rd and 3. And that pass is incomplete. He throws that behind Amani Toomer, who has already caught 4 balls for 54 yards tonight. And so the Giants can't cash in on a short field. And now the question is, what does Coughlin want to do here with the ball at the 35-yard line? Punt.
See David Deal there. He just ran Trent Cole right by. That's the advantage you have as a tackle, is you can invite the guy up the field, let him take the up the field rush, and then just push him right by your quarterback.
Eagles will set up at the 50 as last one was down at the 1. Lino Mahe back to receive. Preaches it and angles it again. Bouncing at the 10. And the Giants will down this one inside the 5-yard line. They spotted at the 4. Another beautiful job done by Feagles. Chase Blackburn downs it there. Cameron Diaz is here tonight, along with about 78,000 others at Giant Stadium.
I'll tell you one thing about Giant Stadium here, and it's always been true. They love their defense, they understand their defense, and they know how to help them, and that's right now.
From the 4-yard line, looking for space, and the Giants have provided none tonight against that Philadelphia offense. Justin Tuck comes in and hammers Carell Buckhalter after a gain of 1, 2nd down and 9.
Andy Reid is just trying to get something going, but you know, you can't open things up and say, well, you know, let's just, you know, throw deep, let's just do these things, because they don't have anything under control yet, and their field position's been terrible.
This comes a week after they scored 42 points in the first half against Detroit.
How about Kevin Curtis last week and this week?
11 catches then, none tonight. Buckhalter was able to at least squirt for a decent gain before he's tackled by Mitchell.
Yeah, I think that's what the Eagles are trying to do now, is just get out beyond the 20, you know, get a couple of first downs here, and then go to work with their offense.
Third and 2. Crowd noise begins to build for the D halfway through the 3rd quarter. And again over the right side. This time it is the rookie Tony Hunt, a rookie out of Penn State. That's his 2nd carry of the night. He gets the first down.
He's like jumping jack flashed on the sidelines, and the players I talked to said they like and feed off of that energy, especially since their coordinator last year was upstairs in the box. He goes from player to player. He grabs the pictures, showing them to correct their mistakes, coaxing them, congratulating them, and finally he assesses his own defensive calls to see if he needs to be doing anything differently as well.
Very demonstrative. The Eagles now go with Mahi as the running back in this set. McNabb has to step up, and he's going to go down again at the 15-yard line. It's Mathias Kiwanuka. So last week, the Eagles had 9 sacks against Detroit, and tonight, that is 7 sacks for the New York Giants. Make it 8. That's the 8th sack of the night for them.
Yeah, you're going to see Kiwanuka is up here coming from the outside, and that's really where he's the best. I mean, they're trying to make him a strong side linebacker, and I watched him on film, and in space, you know, when he has to drop back and pass, he's very, very average. When he's on the line of scrimmage or close to the line of scrimmage, he's pretty darn good.
Quick snap, McNabb hands the ball off to Buckhalter. It'll be 3rd down and 6 upcoming.
You know what I think? Sometimes when you take a defensive lineman and you make a linebacker out of him, he's a little heavy-legged, you know, and he's not used to all the running that they have to do. And you know, he's used to playing, you know, in tighter quarters, and he's used to playing, you know a guy and right on the line of scrimmage. You can see he's just a totally different guy when he gets up there close to the line of scrimmage, or when he blitzes, or when he's going downhill.
3rd down and 5 from the 21-yard line. McNabb to the outside, and that's off target. Intended for Brown, Reggie Brown, who's been held tonight to 2 catches for 11 yards. He was the guy who caught 7 balls in the playoff game last year, and Coughlin was worried about him tonight.
Yeah, well, you know, the guy that he was really worried about is Westbrook. You know, when they talked to Tom Coughlin, he said, you know, that we put our whole defensive game plan around Brian Westbrook, and then when Westbrook, you know, doesn't play, then he has a lot of free defenders, and I think that's why he's blitzing so much tonight. No Westbrook.
The Aussie Sav Rocca with a line drive kick. It takes a good bounce for the Eagles. And we'll be down at the 34-yard line. 5 minutes to go. 3rd quarter. Still 7-0 Giants. Madden 08 or just the whole Madden?
I have no idea.
Giant Stadium at the Meadowlands, East Rutherford, New Jersey. 7-0 New York on top. They have the ball at the 34-yard line. Eli Manning will start with a fake to Ward. A little tight it. And his first catch of the night is a first down to the Eagle 49-yard line.
Yeah, I was just thinking that the Giants have to do that. They have to open up a little. You know, go some deeper passes, go a bootleg, go a reverse, do something here just to open things up and spread them out a little, because I think the Eagles are ready to bend a little here defensively, and the Giants haven't really been aggressive offensively. I think it's time to open up a little.
That was a 17-yard gain. Ward will cut it back. From right to left he goes. And he exploits the defensive line for a gain of 7, tackled by Spike, second down and 3.
Right, and here's where the patience works. You see the run start to the right, but watch the vision that he has and sees the cutback. There's only one guy on the backside and about 7 guys on the play side. So you run to the one guy and away from the 7. But that's what I think. I think Derek Ward does have very good vision. I like the way he gets his pads down. He's always underneath the tackles.
Nothing spectacular tonight, but just very efficient. Workman-like, averaging a little bit than 4 yards a carry, and Manning's going to air it out, going deep, and there will be 2 flags coming in because Toomer gets tripped up by William James for pass interference.
Yeah, the Giants had the same thought that I had. You know, that we've been letting these guys sit around here long enough.
Defense, number 21. Automatic, first down.
And they're ready to bend, and let's start going after them. They come out with a bootleg, then they go play action pass here. Good fake offensive line, good pass protection, and they just try and get Toomer deep, and they get one-on-one. That's exactly what they're waiting for, exactly what they're looking for. If there's no pass interference, that very well could have been a touchdown.
That's a 32-yard penalty. First and goal with the nose of the ball on the 10-yard line. Ward. Back to the line of scrimmage after he gets banged in the backfield. Javon Curse.
Terrible by the fullback. You know, in fact, Tom Coughlin was talking about that. Madison Hedgecock. You have to bring your feet with you. When you're a lead blocker, you can't stay in the hole. You see, he just stops his feet. He kind of gets stoned there, too, and the back just runs right into him. I mean, that's what you have Hedgecock for. I mean, Hedgecock, you're going to lead with him, and you want him to get the movement. You want him to get forward movement.
You don't want him to get pull-cock.
And he did.
Second down and goal from the 11-yard line. And Manning had that one get away from him. Intended for Amani Toomer. It'll be third down and goal.
Yeah, again, I'm very impressed with Eli Manning, how calm he is. You know, that I think he finally has this game down. You know, it takes a couple years to figure out, you know, what you're doing, and then another year or so to figure out what the defense is doing, and then put the two of them together. And I think Eli has them together now.
Third down and goal.
You know there's going to be a blitz on this play. Third down in this situation.
Pump fake. Good as he throws, gets it out to Burris, who was behind the line of scrimmage. So instead of sending Burris on a fade or into the end zone, they have him come back behind the line of scrimmage, and the Giants will have to settle for a field goal attempt.
Yeah, that's a bad play, and it has to be an audible. They went to Omaha because they saw the corner coming on that side. So the corner is going to come right into Eli right there. So he's trying to get the ball out there to Burris, I think, before the safety gets over there. But if I were going to do it, I'd just run Burris instead of running him on a quick, just run him up into the end zone and throw the ball.
29-yard attempt. That was William James forcing the issue, and Lawrence Tynes comes in and gives the Giants a 10-point lead with 2:03 to play in the third. It's been a struggle. New York on top, 10-0.
I think this defense can be probably the best in the NFL. We have all the capability, all the talent. We have the right coaching staff in place.
This could be a great defense. We just have to trust it and believe in it because it is a new defense. And last week we did that. It showed what we could do, and we only plan on getting better.
Well, to some Giant fans, that sounded like a little bit of empty rhetoric until tonight, because the Giants gave up 45 in Dallas, 35 to Green Bay here. 17 in the first half to Washington, even though the offense put the defense in bad spots in that first half. They pitched a shutout in the second half at Washington, and are pitching a shutout tonight and doing a beautiful job. Tynes with the kickoff. Taken at the 4-yard line. J.R. Reed. And he'll bring it back up to the 27 before he gets tackled by Chase Blackburn.
Let's look at some of this guy's plays tonight. Osi Umenyiora. Here he is. We said he lined up in different positions. Here he is as a linebacker running a blitz up the middle with a stunt. They had 2 inside linebackers and he crossed. Here he is with a bull rush move. You know, just taking Winston Justice and putting him in the backfield. Here he is with a speed move. And then, you know, the strip and going after it. And he's done it about every way you can from just about every place that a defensive end can.
Gets arrested at the moment, at least on first down. McNabb fires over the middle. That's caught. There's a flag. For the moment, Brown is close to a first down.
Doesn't McNabb look like a different guy? You know, he took that brace off last week. And
illegal formation. Offense. The tight end was covered. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Now that's as bad as the nose tackle jumping off sides. Is what that is the end man on the line of scrimmage cannot be on the line. He has to be off the line of scrimmage so that the tight end is eligible. If the end man on the line of scrimmage on the tight end side is up on the line, then the tight end has to be off.
All in all, 13 penalties against the team averaging 3 per game. And McNabb drops the ball. Big scramble for it at the 17-yard line. Coming up with it is Mitchell. Mitchell goes to the end zone. Touchdown. Eagles go without a huddle, trying to change the pace of the game. McNabb gets up to the line and drops the snap.
The Giants have just taken it to them every way they can. What happened? Thomas DePay, the fullback, McNabb was trying to get by him, and the ball hit DePay in the arm. Bounced out of there, and there's Kavika Mitchell. But it looks like all the will and all those things have just been taken out of this Eagle team. I mean, they finally make a play and there's a penalty. They try and just run the ball up the middle with a lead, and the fullback hits the quarterback.
Now Reed is reduced to challenging the call.
Challenge, but the player that recovered the fumble was down by contact. Timeout.
You have to make this right now. You got to take a chance, and he may win it. We'll see when we come back. Take a look at this play now. The question is, there's no question that the Giants have recovered the fumble, and then it's a fumble. McNabb drops it. Buckhalter tries to corral it. Squirts out. Here comes Mitchell. Now, when Mitchell recovers it, the question is, does an Eagle make contact with him? There's a mass of bodies in there, but it appears, as we go back and try to slow it down and look at it from back to front.
Right, and it's contact when he's down. It's not contact, obviously, after he's up, because McNabb has contact with him there.
It looked like Schobel comes back. The tight end, number 89. Here he comes. He comes into the picture. The question is, does he make any contact with him? It's going to be an interesting call for Terry McAuley to make here. And I say that in the sense that in looking at this, with the maze of bodies going every which way, and when he gets up and when he's contacted, McAuley could go either way with this.
The only guy that would have a chance is Matt Schobel. And I would think, since they called it a touchdown, I would think they would have to stay with that. Because, again, it's contact when he's down. So their contact when he's down.
The player who recovered the fumble was off the ground when he was contacted by the fumbling team. Ruling on the field stands. Touchdown. Philadelphia charged with their first team timeout.
Yeah, that's what McCauley saw. He saw that he was contacted, but he wasn't down any longer.
Right. You couldn't definitively say that Schobel, who might have contacted him when he was down, it wasn't clear enough. It wasn't indisputable. When he got up, he was then contacted. But once you get up, you're a runner again.
Right, and he had a couple of contacts, not very good contacts, but a couple of Eagle contacts while he was up.
Now Tynes for the extra point, and that hits the upright. About the only thing that's happened in the Eagles' favor in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, watch how bad this gets. It's just a simple lead draw up the middle. McNabb starts back, and he hits his fullback, Toupee, who is not a ball carrier. He's a lead blocker. He comes a little tight in there. I don't think McNabb had the ball out too far. I would say that Thomas Toupee was too tight.
Right, he got the snap. Snap was good. Grazes Toupee's elbow, trying to get it to Buckhalter. And the Giants make it 16-0.
You know, and that's when you know everything is going against you. I mean, something like that doesn't happen in high school football. You know, I mean, that's something that, you know, being able to get a handoff on a lead is about as simple as you can get. You know, when you get down to your fullback is leading and running into the ball that's in your quarterback's hands, things are going nowhere but downhill.
J.R. Reed to run the kickback. Lawrence Tynes kicking off with a minute and 30 remaining in the third quarter. From 2 yards into the end zone. Out past the 20 and then tackled at the 24-yard line. Reed. Wilson with the stop. Again, the Eagles looking like a mass unit coming in. The injured starters, Dawkins, the free safety, missing the second straight game. Shepard also out. He's been to a couple of Pro Bowls. The left tackle. Brian Westbrook led the league in yards from scrimmage through the first 3 weeks of the season. There he is in a T-shirt. He was 50-50 yesterday. Came out tonight, didn't even work him out. Dawkins behind him. One of the things that had to be factored into giving Westbrook the rest was the bye week next week. If you used him tonight, hurt himself further, might have been out for a few weeks. At least this way, 2 more weeks to rest. And this is Kevin Curtis finally getting into the action.
But when you lose a Brian Westbrook, you lose so much in this offense because, I mean, he was easily half the offense. I mean, he's their best pass receiver. He's their best runner, and he's the threat. I mean, the Giants were able to do things on defense tonight because Westbrook isn't there, believe me. And Andy Reid, conversely, can't do some things because Westbrook isn't there.
One thing they try to do, change the pace here, as they did before the ill-fated fumble, go without a huddle, second down and 1. McNabb throws, and that is caught at what might be the first down marker, but Aaron Ross is right there to bang Buckhalter back after he did pick up the first down. Forward progress out to the 36-yard line.
You know, Aaron Ross is the rookie that is starting at corner that the Eagles thought they could work on tonight, but they haven't been able to do it, and I think part of it is their pass protection hasn't held up, and the other part of it, I don't know that their wide receivers have gotten open.
Giants have done a masterful defensive job up front and on the back end. And that is caught by Jason Avant. So Avant, an up-and-comer, takes it up to the 49-yard line, and the Eagles finally get a drive going. As the third quarter comes to an end with the Giants leading Philadelphia 16-0. Sunday Night Football from the Meadowlands. Back after these messages from your local NBC station.
Bears at Packers. Tradition. History. Lambeau Field, Sunday night.
Sunday night is football night on NBC.
Big Apple brought to you by Gillette Deodorant. As we go to the fourth quarter, Al Michaels, John Madden, Andrea Kramer wrapping up week 4. Winner of this game going to 500. Loser going to 1-3 and 3 back of the undefeated Dallas Cowboys. Manning tonight, 13 out of 23, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Giants on top 16-0. Tom Coughlin looking on as his defense goes to work. 1st and 10, Philadelphia at the 48-yard line. And Buckholder for a gain of 4 to the 48 of the Giants. We go to Andrea.
Well, we saw how Steve Spagnuolo was handling things on the Giants sideline when things were going well. Well, how about his polar opposite, offensive coordinator Marty Mornhinweg? He'll go over a few pictures with Donovan McNabb, but just a few. He doesn't want to overload him with information. He'll look at pictures with the whole offense, not just analyzing and correcting what they did or didn't do, but studying whether the Giants defense did what he expected them to do.
And here's McNabb throwing over the middle and to the tight end Brent Selleck for a 1st down.
You know, that's one of the things that the Eagles talked about doing is attacking the middle of the Giant defense, and that's where they've been vulnerable. Remember a few weeks ago in that Dallas game, it seemed like anything that the Cowboys would throw in the middle of the Giant defense, they would complete, and now the Eagles are starting to do that.
From the 38-yard line, McNabb to the outside. That's caught. Curtis falls down and gets tackled at the 26, but that's another 1st down as the Eagles mount their best drive of the night. Giants defense, opponents between those numbers, John, talking about that. A big rating right there.
Yeah, see, here's the middle, and the Cowboys did it with Witten, and then they brought Terrell Owens in there, and I think that's an area that the Eagles can work on.
Sam Madison shaking up injury timeout. Sunday Night Football brought to you by Toyota. Watch Toyota's Line of Scrimmage Sunday nights on NBC. By Pizza Hut, a complete meal is easy with Pizza Hut's family value meals. By Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer on DVD October 2nd. And by Schick Quattro Titanium, the power of 4 meets titanium. Sam Madison, they were working on his shoulder, so he's on the bench right now. R.W. McQuarters comes in for him at right corner at the 26-yard line. The Eagles now mounting this drive, and McNabb gets smacked, and the arm was coming forward, and the pass is incomplete. And that was Aaron Ross, the #1 draft choice out of the University of Texas. The rookie making his first start of his career comes in to bust up the play. You
know, here's Aaron Ross right here, and you see him just time it up perfectly. You know, you want to wait until the guard gets on his man, the tackle gets on his man. Now there's no blocker for you there, and you just hit that hole a beat late.
2nd and 10. Giants coming again. Screen. Pretty bad looking screen intended for Buckholter. Brent Selleck was right in the middle of the action, the tight end out of position. 3rd down.
I don't think that's something you really try and throw. Again, if you had Westbrook in there, you try and get him the ball on these blitzes. But when they're coming like this, they're just having their way with your offense, and you have to get it under control. I mean, even if it's going maximum protection, but then get someone one-on-one just winning a battle. And they can't get that. I mean, they can't win the pass protection war, nor can they win a one-on-one battle at receiver.
3rd and 10. McNabb again. That's a 9th sack. Well, you saw those figures, the sacks, the batted balls, the hits, and this is a guy you keep forgetting coming off ACL surgery about 10 months ago.
Right, and he just doesn't move anymore. I mean, he gets back there, and there's good coverage. There's no place for him to throw. He had to hold the ball a little longer than he wanted to. So here's what he's looking at here. I mean, maybe he had a shot out there to Curtis. He doesn't have a shot there.
Justin Tuck gets the sack. They're going to line up for a 53-yard Akers field goal.
That's why it was such a big defensive play, because it knocked them back into a very questionable field goal range.
Not only that, of all things, and they didn't even know what unit to get out there. So Philadelphia has to burn a timeout and then decide what they're going to do. under any circumstance, Chicago and Green Bay, that's as good as it gets in terms of a rivalry. And then you consider what this game is all about with Favre and the Packers at 4-0, and Chicago desperately in need of a win now. That's the game next week. Football night gets things started at 7 Eastern time. Green Bay on top. Detroit winning today, coming from behind to beat Chicago. And the Bears right now in an early season pretty much must-win situation. Now, right here, I mean, Philadelphia, no man's land. It's 4th down and 19. Do you have a 20-yard pass play? Not really. Do you try a pooch punt? That's not going to gain too much. So they're going to line up to kick a 53-yard field goal from a guy who's 4 out of 10 lifetime here. The downside to this, as well as missing it, is the Giants would get the ball at their own 43-yard line.
Right, the choice is either kick it or fake it.
And Akers bangs it through. It
like
makes
you said,
yeah.
That was the only choice. I mean, they couldn't have done anything else. They're not going to punt it. They don't have to play to go 20 yards, so they had to do this.
Philadelphia on the board. Jay Leno this week. Let's see. He's got Kate Blanchett. He has Jason Lee, Tori Amos, Tyler Perry, Eva Mendes, Tom Selleck, and Kristen Chenoweth. All dropping by in Burbank. See Mr. Leno on the Tonight Show all this week on NBC. From Manhattan back to the Meadowlands, where David Akers has just kicked the second longest field goal of his career. And his kickoff now taken at the 1-yard line by Reuben Drones. Good run back for Drones to the 34-yard line. The Pulse, Philadelphia hasn't had much of one tonight offensively. Eli Manning, meanwhile, 130 yards, 1 TD, 1 pick. McNabb has been sacked 9 times. Umanura with 4 of them. And Strahan got his sack early to break that tie he was in with Michael Strahan since late last season. What did I say? Lawrence Taylor. LT. That's right. The East Coast LT. From the 33-yard line, Manning throws, and that is caught by Michael Matthews, number 88, the rookie tight end out of Georgia Tech, tackled by James.
You know, what the Eagles defense needs here now is 3 and outs, and I think just knowing Jim Johnson, this is what they're going to do. They're really going to press it. I mean, this is where, you know, if you are an aggressive defensive play caller, this is where you have to be very aggressive. You have to get a stop in the line of scrimmage. You have to get a play for a loss. You can't let them get first downs from now on.
What we really would love is a turnover here. 2nd down and 5 from the 37-yard line. There's that cut back by Ward. Escapes the grasp of Cole and gets up to the 40-yard line where Considine makes the stop. John talking about what Philly needs is to create a 3 and out. So now you have a 3rd and a long 2.
And then what do the Giants do in this situation? That, you know, it's really a passing down, but if you're going to pass, you're probably going to get pressure. You're going to get a blitz here, I would think. So, you know, can you run and get the first down? Then you get in shotgun, and you're not going to run.
And you got movement up front.
False start. Offense number 83. 5-yard penalty.
That's the other thing that drives the coach crazy. Here you are, you're using your snap count to help your quarterback. You're using your snap count to help your offensive line, and then you get a wide receiver out there on your hard count who jumps. I mean, he doesn't have to go. He's going nowhere. All he has to do is just look in at the ball.
Sonoris Moss.
Oh, boy.
3rd down and 7. To the outside and through Burris's hands. So exactly what the Eagles needed here. Very little time taken by the Giants off the clock. 1 tick under 11 minutes. And the Eagles, who mounted their most impressive drive of the night, resulting eventually in a 53-yard field goal by Akers, will get the ball.
And as you say, the Eagles got exactly what they needed, a 3 and out here with a Little help from that guy we just saw taking his helmet off.
Jeff Fiegels. High floating kick, not particularly deep. Fair caught at the 29-yard line by Reno Mahi. Reed's offense back on the field. 10:50 to play in the fourth.
For the past couple of years, it's always come down to the fourth quarter.
Every play, no let up. That's the only way you're going to win.
The decision maker in the game tonight is simple. Whoever wants it the most.
This game's always been about a four-quarter fight, and it's always been the last man standing.
Whoever executes from a mental standpoint is going to win the football game.
Two teams whacking each other upside the head since 1933. A lot of great finishes. Will we have one tonight? McNair from the 29 to start this drive. Sidearms it, and it's intercepted and then dropped by Mitchell. Buckhalter couldn't handle it. He got hit. Pierce was there, and then Mitchell had a sure pick and dropped it.
Yeah, he's laughing now, knowing probably if he would have gotten that pick, it could have been another touchdown. He was a guy that picked up the fumble and scored with it, and he looks right here. If he catches that, he could very well have run that in.
Second down and 10.
Yeah, they sure haven't given his left tackle out here much help. Mr. Justice has been all by himself, and that's what's happening.
Yeah, his man almost came in for another sack that time. Kiwanuka is there as McNair is forced to scramble out. Umenyiora came pretty close to getting a 5th sack.
Right, and I think by now you would know that Winston Justice by himself cannot block Osi Umenyiora. So I would imagine that you'd put a tight end over there, you'd put a back over there to chip him. You would do something, or just get the ball back there and get rid of it quickly, which looks like an impossibility right now.
And McNair was running forward. That was a sack. They got him behind the line of scrimmage. That was 10. This is 11. That's 11 sacks, 5 by Umenyiora.
You know, and they're going to say that, you know, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. And I'll tell you, they didn't because these guys didn't let them. There's another bull rush. If you want to describe a bull rush and say, what is a bull rush? Diagram it up. Show me a picture of it. There was a picture of a bull rush right there.
That ties the Giants team record for sacks. Umenyiora sets an individual record with 5. The kick is fielded at the 34 by McQuarters. And he brings it back to the 39-yard line. What a performance by the Giants defense. By the Giants defense. Go figure. 16-3. 11 sacks tonight. Umenyiora has 5. He has set a Giants team record. Pepper Johnson had 4.5 in 91. Strahan had 4 in 01. And Lawrence Taylor twice had 4. The 11 tying the mark and paying homage is one Michael Strahan to Umenyiora, and Umenyiora still has 9 minutes and 41 seconds. He is probably not done.
No, that's why he's smiling. He knows there's more where that came from.
Here is Ward. And Ward close to a first down as they begin to now start thinking about taking time off the clock. 9.5 to go.
Yeah, we always talk about offensive lines and winning battles, and this is when this offensive line has won the battle, and this is when you take over a game. You know, Tom Coughlin talked about winning in the fourth quarter and all the things you have to do in the fourth quarter. The offensive line has a big part of what they do, and they have control of this game now, this Giant offensive line.
2nd and 1. Ward again, and that'll take another 38, 40 seconds off the clock by the time they snap it again. Quentin Michael makes the tackle. So Tom Coughlin, of course, under siege last year at the end of the year when the team went into the tank at the end and lost the playoff game, and most Giant fans thought he was gone, but they renewed him for an extra season. Still under the gun this year, lose the first 2 games. Big comeback win last week. And tonight a defensive performance for the ages, albeit against a team that comes in, as we say, as a medical unit and has Winston Justice, a guy who was inactive every game last year, playing that spot that Umenyiora is just rolling over like a steamroller. Here's Drones, gain of 1.
You know, and they did it with, I mean, Strahan, you know, got some. They got pressure up the middle. They moved Umenyiora around. They blitzed. They brought safeties. They brought linebackers. They pressured McNabb early, you know, straight up the middle. And Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator, really had a great plan for the Eagles tonight.
2nd and 7.
Just when they can't block your defensive ends, that helps your plan.
Yeah. From the 45. Throws to the 43. 7.5 to play. Regulation.
You know, we talked about Trent Cole coming into this game being the leading sacker in the NFL, and was going to be a tough matchup for David Deal. And Deal has really played well. I mean, he had a challenge, and he really stood up to that challenge. He handled his part of the bargain. What they do is Trent Cole comes in and he tries to get low and get underneath you, and what tackles are doing to him now is what Deal just did there, is when he tries to get underneath and get leverage, you just push him to the ground.
3rd and 5. The Giants effectively using the clock on this drive. Under 7 minutes to play, and Manning has to dump it off to avoid getting sacked as he tried a backhand flip after Clinton Michael got into the backfield. And the Giants will punt. And John, maybe for the Eagles, maybe they'll have to go back to those uniforms that they wore last week.
Well, they'd like to have some of those points that they had last week. You start going in the 30s, and then you're in the 40s, and then you're in your 50s, and let's save some of those for the next week. But they're not playing this giant defense that has really dominated them tonight. Now, the Giants still, again, had to get some first downs there, and the Eagle defense needed a 3 and out.
Eagles to kick. Reno Mahi is back to receive it. Mahi pulls it in at the 11-yard line. 25 out of bounds. Consensus says about the ugliest uniforms in the history of the league. They, of course, a tribute to the Philadelphia City colors from years ago and the Swedish immigrants. And that's what they wore last week. Do not adjust your set. And most of the Eagles were saying, well, no, we're going to put those away forever. But maybe not after last week. You scored 42 in the first half.
Yeah,
come out in your underwear.
Yeah, they'd look awfully good to them right now, wouldn't they? But they were ugly.
Ooh.
I mean, no one could have liked those uniforms.
They were for the birds. 1st and 10. And this is Reggie Brown up to the 29-yard line. The Giants are on the verge with Strahan already going past Taylor, with Umenyiora setting a team mark for most in a game, and with the Giants already tying their team record tonight. One more sack would tie the National Football League record for sacks in a game.
They're still giving Justice no help over on this side. They're putting a tight end on this side, and I think somewhere along the line, say, let's give this guy a little help, and maybe that's the help we need, is just run at him.
Buckhalter is going to take it for a first down. Tackled there by Justin Tucker. Under 6 minutes to play.
And again, the Eagles, have to be thinking in terms of 2 scores here. So you go into what you call a 4-minute offense. You have a 2-minute offense for 1 score. Then you go to your 4-minute offense when you need 2 scores, and that's hurry up for 4 minutes.
And they need 2 touchdowns because a field goal and a touchdown will not do it, and that pass is batted and incomplete. And Sam Madison, they were worried about him. You can see he's favoring that left shoulder. He came off on the last series and clearly favoring it right now. 2nd down and 10.
You'd wonder when they were going to get some help over there to the tackle here to William Justice, and you see this time they started sliding the line to him, and Todd Harriman's the left guard comes out and they said to Umenyiora, here we are in the 4th quarter. We've had about enough of that, and it'll be a little too much too late.
2nd and 10.
False start. Offense number 74. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
So that's 11 sacks given up by them tonight, and that is 14 penalties for 127 yards. Cowboys win today. Redskins off. The Giants win. They go to 2-2. Philly goes to 1-3. The good news for Philly, the bye week comes exactly when they have to have it right now. And so many guys are hurt. So many key guys are hurt. This is the perfect time. On 2nd and 15. McNabb underneath. And Buckhalter fighting his way toward a first down, comes up a little bit short. It'll be 3rd and 1.
See, and they're going no huddle now, so they can, they're going into their 2-score hurry up right now.
And McNabb will sneak it for a first down. So he gets it to the 46. Fresh set of downs. Clock under 5.
Yeah, I would be surprised if the Eagles get in a huddle again, as long as this clock is running.
There's McNabb last week, a perfect passer rating, and tonight 46%, and a rating about 100 points less.
Spread them out and throw it quick. Get the shotgun, throw it quick. Get rid of it.
Over the middle, and that'll be caught, and that's a first down as he goes to Max Schobel, the tight end. First down at the 44-yard line. Clock ticking down to 4:15 remaining in the 4th.
And that was the area of this Giant defense that we were talking about is kind of in the middle, and again, they have 4 wide receivers now, so it doesn't have to be a tight end in the middle. It can be a slot or wide receiver or anyone hitting that Giant defense in the middle.
McNabb looking over the middle and has to go to the outside. And that's caught by Buckhalter, and he was able to get out of bounds to stop the clock after picking up a first down at the 32-yard line with 3:53 to play.
Something was wrong with the Giant defense on that play, Al. Antonio Pierce, if you see him right here, he was trying to take a timeout. And someone was trying to get off the field, and they had no rush at all. I mean, I don't know what they thought. The Eagles are going without a huddle, so that means it's tough to huddle up on defense also, so you have to speed up yourself.
Got the snap off before the timeout. And wide open to the right side. That's as free as anybody's been tonight. Goes Buckhalter down to the 16-yard line. No Giants there. No blue uniforms to the left defensive side. First down again.
It's funny. It looks like the Giant defense all got tired at the same time. I mean, they've had control of this thing. They've been rushing the passer. They've been tackling. They've been doing everything. And then they look like they're in cement these last couple plays.
And all of a sudden, the Eagles have life. 1st and 10 at the 16-yard line. Philly looking ahead. Only 1 timeout left, plus the 2-minute warning.
That's what that no huddle can do to you. Change the tempo.
And now all of a sudden the Giants get fresh again as Buckhalter tries the left side, and Justin Tuck is there for the tackle for the loss.
I think something happened to Umenyiora on that play where Antonio Pierce was trying to take a timeout, because at that same time he was going out and he's still over there on the sideline.
2nd and 14. And with the clock running, you have Justin Tuck, who is down. That's the reason for the stoppage on the field.
I think if I were the Eagles, I'd take a shot right here. You're going to see Justin Tuck here. He's going to go to the inside. He's the right defensive end. He has pretty good leverage right there. Makes the play. That looked like remember you used to have those reverse body blocks? That looked like a reverse body tackle.
A vice. I'm with you. I think you have to. They need 2 touchdowns. A field goal and a touchdown doesn't work. When you're down by 13 points, you got to get into the end zone quickly. At least if you can, that gives you the choice. Do you want to onside kick it, or as they apply the drops on the sideline here to Kevin Dockery, or you could still kick off. You have 1 timeout and a 2-minute warning.
So 2 minutes, yeah. So you'd like to take your shot and get your touchdown before the 2-minute warning.
Absolutely.
And use that as a timeout.
And McNabb almost gets sacked for the 12th time The pressure is on. He goes down. Strahan that time got to him, and that will make it 3rd down and 14.
You know, again, it's easy for us to stay up here and say you ought to take a shot, you know, throw one into the end zone, but he hasn't had time. I mean, that's the thing. His pass protectors really haven't helped him tonight. I mean, he's trying to set up. He's trying to get the ball up the field or down the field, and there's no way that these guys are letting them.
And the receivers aren't getting open. The dual whammy. 3rd and 14. McNabb stepping up. Throws going forward. Corner of the end zone. Open touchdown. But a flag is down. Was McNabb across the line of scrimmage? That's Reggie Brown who comes up with it. The line of scrimmage is the 20-yard line, and it is.
Number 5. Quarterback was beyond the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Loss of down. 4th down.
McNabb running forward and across the line of scrimmage before he gets the pass away.
You know, and he's usually pretty good at that. Now, we put the red line in there, and the red line is a line of scrimmage. He makes a good move right there. He's beyond it now when he throws it.
No question. Strahan almost jumped offside that time. Got a good jump, putting the pressure on from the outside, forcing McNabb to step up. And the Eagles on 4th and 18 have to go for it, obviously.
Now this crowd, we were talking earlier how this Giant crowd really understands defense, always had. And this is a play and a situation right now that this crowd is needed.
Curtis to the left. Avant and Brown are split to the right. And McNabb loses the ball. It doesn't matter who recovers at this point. That is Osi Umenyiora. He does it again.
I mean, not giving Winston Justice any help out there was just asking for it. I mean, there's no way that he's going to block Osi Umenyiora tonight. I mean, he may get him next year or 3 years from now, but now he's not ready to block him. And you get in this situation, and Umenyiora just gets in that speed stance, that sprinter stance, and he just sprints right to Donovan McNabb. McNabb didn't have a chance.
There is no justice tonight.
Well, and there's no justice in that they didn't give Justice any help, which would have been a little more justice than Justice had.
So the Giants defense, so vulnerable through the first 2 games. People wondering about, would the scheme work? How long would it take for it to work? They just tied the NFL record for most sacks in a game, and Umenyiora is 1 shy of Derek Thomas's record for individual sacks in a game, which is 7 by the late former Kansas City great. And timeout is taken here by the Eagles, their final 1.
Well, you know what I like? I mean, besides Umenyiora and Strahan and doing the job that they did, is the plan that the Giants had. I mean, they started off and they were very aggressive early. I mean, they blitzed early. They didn't let Donovan McNabb get started.
And, John, you know, sometimes you can overstate the importance of one guy in a team game. I don't think you can overstate the importance of Brian Westbrook and what he means to the Eagles. Not that they necessarily would have won the game, but they certainly would have looked a heck of a lot better than they did tonight.
Yeah, I mean, a couple things. I mean, he's so important to McNabb, and he's the guy that maybe, you know, he could have gotten the ball to him quicker, maybe, you know, a screen pass here or there. But I don't really think, I mean, the way the Giants played tonight, Westbrook wouldn't have won the game for the Eagles in my mind.
Second down with 3. From the 38-yard line. Drones up to the 41. The Eagles think that the ball has come loose. As now you've got a fight. You got Spikes going at it, and you got the Giants, of course, who have all but won this. Kind of mocking them is that Seibert right there, number 69, with that mock applause. 2-minute warning. The Giants 2 minutes away from going to 2-2.
On Sunday Night Football.
Brett Favre, Lambeau Field, Bears-Packers.
Now you talk about football, that is football. I've always said that, you know, if they were going to make a a shrine to pro football. It ought to be Lambeau Field in Green Bay. And there's just something about going into that stadium, driving down Lombardi Avenue, Lambeau Field, and that just kind of shows and represents the history of the NFL. I get chills every time I do that.
Next Sunday night. 3rd down and 1 after the 2-minute warning. And fighting his way for what should be a first down is Reuben Drones, and that will in effect end it, as the Giants are going to come away with a victory on a night when they had 12 sacks, when Umenyiora, who had one sack in his last 8 games going back to last season. You know, John, it's a cliche, of course, what a difference a week makes. You go back to Philadelphia, what they did last week, and then you have their disaster tonight, thanks in good measure to all of the injuries. We had the Giants on opening night. Umenyiora had gotten hurt. Remember, he had Brandon Jacobs was hurt, and Umenyiora had a knee, and Manning looked like he had a separated shoulder, and they looked like they were a mess. You fast forward 3 weeks, Manning looks fine. Jacobs probably comes back next week. Ward looks good out of the backfield, and Umenyiora is halfway to Canton after tonight.
You know, and we always learn that every year. I mean, in the NFL stands for never figure league. You know, the minute you think you have it figured out who's good or who's bad, you're wrong. And a lot of this has to do with coaching. You know, that when things go bad, like you said, I mean, it looked terrible against Dallas. Things could fall apart. And good coaches hold things together. I mean, when things are going well and you're winning, everyone loves everyone. Anyone can coach them. But it's when things are going bad, you know, and you hold the ship together.
Well, Umenyiora, he's not literally going to Canton, but he's going to put his name up alongside some pretty good players. Derek Thomas leading that list, and you saw Fred Dean was there as well with 6 sacks in the game, 6 sacks for him tonight. He's the man of the hour in the Meadowlands. Andrea getting ready to talk to him, so you know who will be part of our post-game show. I think you can figure out who's likely to be on the horse trailer. And then you have the other side of the coin, where the guy who was the victim, they want to talk to him too. He doesn't want to talk much in response. We'll have the post-game show next. 16-3 Giants. Giants Stadium, happy crowd is filing out. Giants 2 wins, 2 losses, beat Philadelphia by a score of 16-3. So that Giant defense shutting Washington out in the second half last week. No touchdowns tonight. That's 6 quarters for the Giants. We've got Tiki Barber across the river, so let's go 8 miles. So Tiki, we're always talking to you about Eli Manning and the running back situation, but tonight, tell us about the Giant defense.
Well, I tell you what I noticed was Coach Spagnuolo has put these defenders in positions where they can use their strengths. You know, for the first couple of weeks, Kiwanuka was playing linebacker, and he wasn't very good in space. Antonio Pierce was stepping back there as well, and he got him up in the line of scrimmage, put a lot of pressure on Donovan McNabb in this offense, and without Brian Westbrook, they looked inept, without any emotion, and it showed. 11 sacks, 12 sacks actually, 6 by Osi, who had a career game. And you got to give a lot of credit to these guys for not getting down on themselves and finding a confidence in the second half of last week's game against the Washington Redskins and putting themselves on this second tier of teams in the NFC.
You know, it's funny, you know, career game for Umenyiora. I don't know that I've seen a more dominant defensive effort by a defensive lineman in my career. I mean, I don't know that, you know, I'm trying to think of one. You know, I mean, I've seen Reggie White do it. We talk about Lawrence Taylor as a linebacker did it. But what Umenyiora did tonight, I don't know that I've seen one of those.
Yeah, well, Derek Thomas was a linebacker. He had the 7 sacks, and so you have a lineman with 6 is phenomenal.
I tell you what was most impressive about it is he did it in so many different ways. Osi's not a big guy, but he was bull rushing. He was running around guys. He was spinning. He was just finding ways to get to the quarterback, and that's what was most impressive.
And I think the other thing that you mentioned, Tiki, is Steve Spagnuolo moved him around. You know, and he wasn't always at the end position. You know, when you kind of figured out, okay, Osi's over there, let's get him some help. Then he lined up at the linebacker, and then he was stunting in the middle. And that plan that the Giants defense had tonight, I thought was super.
No, it definitely was. And I tell you, the big picture in this is that the New York Giants right now are sitting on that second level. There's the Dallas Cowboys, the Green Bay Packers, and then really no one else has stepped up in the NFC to say that they're going to compete in this division or in this conference. And so they're right there right now at 2-2. They have as good a chance as anybody as long as their health stays intact.
What surprises you? You know, you looked at the big picture, and we do too, in the sense that against Dallas on opening night, that very leaky defense, but the Giants showed they could score. Didn't play well against Green Bay, fell apart in the second half. Didn't play well in the first half against Washington, but played much better in the second half. You saw tonight's performance. So, I mean, where is this team right now? A lot of people thought the Giants were going to be like a 6-10 team. What do you see down the line for this team? Yeah,
no, I think they're much better than the 6-10 team because they're ascending defensively. As was evidenced in the first game, they were out of sorts. They were out of whack. I think the new scheme by Spagnuolo wasn't picked up very well. They were playing well offensively, and they just needed to find a way to catch up. And now they've caught up defensively, and it's making this a formidable team to deal with.
Tiki, we thank you. As a parting gift, you can go to bed. You're
Appreciate
all set. Okay.
You guys can't.
Okay, not yet. We got a couple of things to do. See you next week. Final score was 16-3 as the Giants knock off Philadelphia. We'll hear from Osi Umenyiora when we come back. Osi Umenyiora, born in London, lived in Nigeria from the age of 7 through the age of 14. Wound up going to school at Troy in Alabama. Played there with DeMarcus Ware, the great Cowboy linebacker, and he winds up on the horse trailer, which will be heading to Green Bay for next week's game. And now let's go down to the field. Osi with Andrea.
Osi Umenyiora, 1 sack in the last 8 games, yet 6 tonight. The single game record for the Giants. How do you feel about that?
Well, most importantly, man, we won the football game. It was a game we needed to win. But, you know, we've had some great players here, and to know that I got the single game sack record is just amazing to me.
What were you able to do to Winston Justice, making his first start at right tackle?
No, I mean, he's a good football player, man. He's a good football player, man. It's just, you know, today was just one of those days, man. Sometimes you get close and you keep getting close and you don't get them. And then sometimes every time you get close, you get them. So it was just an amazing game for me, man. I'm just happy. I'm happy we won. Aaron, it's good looking out, man.
Yeah, you only had the 3 sacks at halftime, but you had an IV then. How were you able to come out in the second half and be even more dominant?
Yeah, I was cramping a little bit, man, but you know, they put that IV in me, man. It's like Superman juice or something, man. It got me going, man. So it was good.
How were you able to take advantage of the absence of Bryant Westbrook tonight?
I'm really not sure if he would have made a difference today, man. I mean, he's an outstanding football player. Don't get me wrong, man, but it was just a situation where we're ready. And Steve Spagnuolo, our D coordinator, had us ready, and it was just time for us to step up.
More congratulations for you.
All right, thank you so much, Andrea. Man, y'all take care. Truth, Umenyiora.
Osi Umenyiora, a night he'll never forget, obviously. 16-3 is the final score. He winds up on a horse trailer, and of course Chicago takes on Green Bay next week from Lambeau Field. Favre in the pack 4-0 against the Bears. We'll talk to you then. Until then, Al Michaels, John Madden, Andrea Kramer, our entire NBC Sports crew saying goodnight from the New Jersey Meadowlands.
NBC Sports thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.